Oh, shit. Yeah. Hi, Linda.
Are they broken? Uh-oh, you broke one.
What's hatching?
You touched it.
Okay,
Great. I'm sorry.
we're live. Did you bring these?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ha. So
Congratulations.
everybody, welcome to the meeting of the HTC, the Historic District Commission. It's Tuesday, May 17th. It's a little bit after 5 o'clock. And let's see. What's the first order of business here? A few things for the people in the audience. Matthew, are you listening? So put the phones on silent, and if you're using your own recording device, let us know in advance. Thank you very much. Let's see.
You're actually not on.
Oh, there. Okay. Let's see. Is Diane with us? Hello, Diane.
Yep, I'm here.
Very good. So present at tonight's meeting are Jesse Dutra, Val Oliver, Abby Camp, Diane Coombs, myself, Ray Pohl, our brand new, newly elected regular member, Stephen Welch. Stephen, welcome to the team.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks.
And Carrie Thornwell. So that's our board. Can I have a motion to approve today's agenda? Diane has made that motion, and is somebody in control of Diane's volume? If you could turn her up just a little, I can barely hear her. Okay, thank you. So Diane has made a motion to approve today's agenda. On that motion, Val Oliver.
Aye.
Thank you, Abby Camp.
Aye.
Stephen Welch.
Aye.
Very good. And Diane, on your motion.
Aye.
And I'm in favor too. So we now have an approved agenda. So we have a few things under public comment. Let's see. Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
All right, Stephen.
Okay, I just want to make an announcement. Let's see, May 31st, Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. at the VFW, the HDC will be convening at 6 p.m. sharp to provide, to ratify its appointment of John McLaughlin as Commissioner Emeritus and to formally provide him with a plaque of recognition. After which there will be casual banter and laughs as a celebration of John's service. We would ask that you, I'm going to give an email address, that you RSVP so we can get a head count. No, May 31st, Tuesday. It's Nantucket honoring John at gmail.com. And as I said, it will be a formal event at 6 p.m. We hope people will attend promptly in order to share their applause. It's an important transition for John. And then we'll go right to kind of a casual atmosphere. We encourage people not only to come, but bring a plate of your favorite hors d'oeuvres and a story or two that you can share just casually, or if you want to pick up a mic. And John has been serving with the HDC since I was 6 months old. And so nearly over a half a century. And again, it's Nantucket honoring John at gmail.com to RSVP so we can get a head count.
What day is it
The
again?
VFW, May 31st, Tuesday, May 31st, appropriately a Tuesday night when the HDC would normally convene.
Oh, we're
6
going to
p.m.
do it instead of convening, right?
Pardon me, Diane?
Are we going to do it instead of convening? We won't
John
have
will
a
be
meeting
the
next-
sole item
Well,
on the agenda.
I think what
Good.
Diane meant was instead of convening
I see.
to review applications. Diane, yeah, this is all about John. The 31st, that quote unquote meeting is really, is going to be a celebration of John's tenure on the board.
I couldn't be more for it.
No. Okay. Yeah. Hey, Stephen, thanks so much for organizing that. We're all going to miss John. He did a fabulous job. So to that, Holly, I think that we should probably take all that information, the web address, the time, all that, and just mass email to everybody in the design community and anybody who you think would be interested in attending. So spread the word. Thank you, Stephen. Val, did you have something that you wanted to say as public
Yeah,
comment?
I just want to put on the agenda for a future agenda, hopefully sooner than later, to discuss the wind turbines, the upcoming ones that are proposed
Right.
before.
As opposed to the one that was already.
Yeah.
Right.
If I may interject, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
It's already on the agenda
Oh,
under
it-
other business.
Oh.
That's Sunrise though, right?
No wind turbines.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
This
Well,
is
there's
a
a whole
general
grid of them.
discussion.
Yeah, about how we, as a town and as the HCC as a regulatory agency, will deal with the future ones that will be coming up inevitably
Right.
in the short-term future.
Well, I hope they'd let me know, because I'm the team member.
Yep.
I'm going to. Will you public comment?
No, go ahead.
No. Okay. Thank you, Val. Any other public comment? Because on item number 2, I actually made an executive decision. And the executive decision is I'm going to defer the elections unless people want to vote me out tonight. Defer the elections because we have a new board. Well, Stephen's been with us, but now he's a regular member. I think that I want to just sort of proceed slowly, relatively slowly and cautiously, see how the new board does, keep things in place the way they are, and then we'll take up the elections, sometime a little bit further down.
Okay.
Okay?
Do we have to vote on that?
I don't think we do. Am I allowed to just sort of?
No, you don't have to vote.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Terry.
On that note,
Yep.
we will also have a new alternate associate appointed relatively soon, so.
So the
I know they
protocol
don't
for
vote.
that, now, here's where I'm not really sure. The select board opens up applications for that position, but they will post it
27th.
and the select board ultimately will make the decision about who that associate member is.
Yes, that's right.
Until when? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so fortunately, that's why we have 3. So now we have two associate members that will get us through until July.
Mr. Chair, the select board will make their determination on June 22nd.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it
anybody
sounds like
who
it's already in the
wants to
pipeline.
put their hat in the ring, they just need to follow the procedures that the select board has
Very good.
laid out.
It's on their website,
Yes,
Holly,
yes, it is. Yep.
Great.
clearly what to do.
Okay. So spread the good word. All right. Thanks, everybody. And now we get to the consent agenda from which
I have to sit off.
I need to sit off. Mirka needs to sit off. I think that's it. So Avi,
Yeah.
could you chair that? And you'll need to pull in 2 other members.
Okay, so do I hear a motion for consents?
Oh, those 2 members being Jesse and Carrie.
Move to
Make a
approve
motion.
consent.
To approve the consent.
Okay, thanks, Diane. Stephen beat you to it. So on that motion, Jesse
Aye.
and Carrie
Aye.
and Diane
Aye.
and Stephen on your motion,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Abby. Consent with conditions, I think we're all good on this one. Can somebody give me a motion on those?
So moved. Can I
Thank
make
you.
a statement before?
Yes, of course.
If you look at all the consents, it's got to be telling you something. That's all.
It's telling me something?
Yes.
Word there.
Pool, spa.
Oh.
There's a,
Okay,
there's a
yeah,
pond in
oh,
there.
boy. Yeah, that's the consent with conditions.
Yes,
Right. And I was looking under consent and there weren't any there. And it's because they all have the not visible
right.
thing
But
appended.
anyway, I make a motion to
Okay.
unfortunately approve.
Yeah. Okay, so Diane has made the motion. On that motion, Val Oliver,
Aye.
Abby Camp,
I,
Stephen Welch.
I'm a no.
You're a no,
I mean,
okay.
Can't unfortunately approve these, can we?
What?
Diane's
Oh,
motion
oh.
was to unfortunately approve these.
I was being
Applause.
funny, Steve. Come on.
Okay.
Okay, I'm an aye then.
Okay, he's in, and Diane on your
Steve.
motion.
Aye.
Thank you, and I'm in favor. Okay, so one item of new business, and let's see. Tori, are you on?
I am here. Give me 1 second.
Yeah,
guys.
and if you could up your microphone, turn your,
Yes. Is that better?
that's better. Thanks, Tori.
Yep, of course. Thank you.
Okay, so we got 5 Surfside Road addition and lift.
Oh, I thought we did this.
Yeah.
oh, for the window well.
Yeah, just,
Oh.
it.
Right, and I
doesn't
believe-
have the board.
I believe we have a board. Yes.
Yeah, okay, so, right. Can we determine who is sitting on this application? Because it,
was.
and
I
I was.
was.
You were, Diane?
Yes,
Okay, so that's 4. Oh,
That
wait.
might have been all we had, Ray. I think you were not at the meeting. It was last Thursday, right, guys?
Oh,
yeah.
I wasn't on it?
I don't
was-
think so.
Oh, okay.
You weren't here.
You are on it? It's probably a good idea. Terry, if you could opine on this one.
It was me, Diane, Val, and Diane, and John. And John isn't here.
Chairman, if I may interject, I have as minutes Camp, McLaughlin, Coombs, Oliver, Welch.
There you go. So you're the 4-person, obviously, because John's not here, but Abby's
Okay.
chairing.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
All right, go ahead, Tori.
Okay, thanks. So we left off on the fact that we are applying to the Historical Commission. And we certainly, first and foremost, appreciate the board working with us for the minor suggestions they had at this past meeting to present to you the majority of your requests. Where we left off were the window wells on the main structure, the 1900 structure, which is the original home. And we are following suit on HSAB comments that Holly read at the last meeting. I'm happy to have her reiterate those this evening if you like, so you can refresh your memory. The HSAB only had issues, from what I understand, on the main structure of window wells, the 1900 structure, from both Surfside and from, I always get it wrong, is it Vestal or Vesper?
Vesper.
Vesper. So we have taken your suggestion to move the one from Surfside to the south behind the chimney. And we have also taken your suggestion to go from the 15 light to a 12 light with a kick panel on that double door on the south elevation. We have kept the rhododendron, as we briefly discussed, for vegetation in perpetuity. There is an existing privet. We've added the privet to the site plan. We have kept the window well on the north side of the main structure, and we do have an existing wet well there. We've also provided a section of the window well with explicit detail as to how we will finish it, with some brick detail and brick veneer.
What about the front?
The front has moved to behind the chimney, as you guys suggested as one of your options.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Answer. And we've kept the rhododendron, kept the privet. And then if you'd like me to reiterate the other changes that are not bubbled on this set of plans, we are lifting the entire structure and setting it back down on a full foundation. The only grade change will be in the farthest west L, which John McLaughlin conveniently gave us the history of, was a shanty at one point. And it's simply, the addition is simply to connect the main structure to that former shanty area. We've got roof pitch changes slightly to a bareback roof in the back there. And we've got a 6-inch grade change only under that farthest westernmost point. I think that's the majority. Any questions? Happy to answer.
Thank you, Tori.
Yep.
Holly?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So yes, so basically this is a historic tax credit application. So that's one of the reasons why you all allowed us to, well, the applicant to have it bring back before you again. They are meeting a deadline with both the Nantucket Historical Commission and the Massachusetts Historical Commission for historic tax credits. And this application will be reviewed by the NHC on Friday. Their minor revisions that they provided, which were the changing the French door with the kick panel, thank you. Also adding more vegetation to the window wells. I do remember you all had some concerns on the window wells, but one of the changes that they did was relocate the window well that was going to be behind that existing rhododendron and visible off of Surfside. They've relocated it behind that gable end chimney. Again, this is a circa 1900 structure attributed to the Grimes family. I did take a look at these prior to today and did provide quick turnaround feedback to both Tori and Polly on Thursday. And I just wanted to make a comment on the visibility that both HSAB and I think staff, as well as the commission, had comments on with as far as additional vegetation, that it should also be proposed not only on the main historic structures mass, but also along any window well that's being proposed on this corner lot. So that would mean the window wells that are also proposed on the little additions on the structure that have been there for quite some time. So those were the comments, but very happy to see that you'll see on the main facade that there's no window well there and it's out of view. But I do believe that there are comments on what material that you wanted to see. Again, for appropriateness, this is going to be vetted at the state level for the Secretary of Interior standards on rehabilitation, which is what your design guidelines follow. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Holly. Val, are you ready?
Yeah, I am. I appreciate moving the one from Surfside Road and moving it to partially hidden behind the chimney. I think that can be seen through the driveway, so if something could just pop there in the corner at the end of the job to sort of screen it a little more would be great.
Nice. Stephen?
Thanks, Madam Chair. Yeah, I think I appreciate the changes. They're appropriate, and I think it can be approved as is.
Thank you. Carrie, were you on this? Nope. No. Diane?
Yep. I appreciate the changes very much, particularly the front building. I would just make a suggestion that vegetation be in front of or around any of the window wells. I see that you have it on the north side, but that they all should have it, because they do the same thing that we brought up on the front, is that they issue at nighttime lights, which we're trying to cut down. So other than that, I think you've done a very good job.
Okay, thank you, Diane. It sounds like we have a motion brewing here.
I'll make a motion to approve
With
With
that, yeah, go ahead.
with the vegetation that's been mentioned.
Around the like the,
around the window wells.
okay, good. All in favor of Diane's motion, Val,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Diane on your motion,
Aye.
and I'm an aye.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, Tori.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Abby. Next up, we're at old business, established boards. I'll go into details on that in a second. Linda's here. And is Uri joining us or no? Okay. Okay.
I am here if you need to.
Okay, thank you, Uri. Let's see, John is, of course, not here. So I'm going to do a rotation on. Okay, boss.
I think the boss, I think.
Wow.
I was
Did
going
I just
to, I was
dress
going
down there
to
or
agree to
what?
that.
Wait, what did you just say?
Stephen now as a regular member will step in Johnny's shoes wherever he's,
Okay, so
Um,
all these alternates
able
for
to.
for these open applications, any of which would be alternates, the three would go to Stephen?
yes, unless you need another one. And I think there are a couple where you will need to bring in another alternate.
That's possible. I haven't gotten that far ahead, but let's try this one out. Okay, so I guess Stephen, you're on this one.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, and I'm not. That's done.
It's the regular board.
Regular, well, the quote unquote regular board. Yes. Okay, so Ms. Williams, approach the bench. What's going on?
I just set a table up there.
We brought this in the last time.
Great idea.
We made some changes if you want to put them up there. I don't have it in front of me, so I'm gonna have to look at it up there. Stephen, do you have the plan open in front of you?
Yeah, I actually have I have the more modern version.
Oh, I see.
Digitally available.
Well, you're looking at the foundation thing. The plan is actually in front of you on your right.
I can catch up. I'm
There
a
we go.
multitasker.
Okay. There was a concern about that dormer on the right, which we eliminated and actually pushed it up, so there is no dormer on the right.
Well, on the north elevation,
The street side, I can't really see it
which is
from
the
here.
north.
Yes,
It's
north
north
side.
elevation, north.
I'm looking at a dormer,
You're right,
albeit a
Oh, yeah.
setback, not a flush dormer.
not a floor dormer.
Okay.
Yes,
You're right. Do you want to
setback.
say exactly what you did? Because I can barely see it up there.
Yeah, I, as you mentioned, that I stepped the dormer back, as you suggested, I think, in the last meeting. And what other changes did we do?
You want to go to the west elevation,
West elevation, okay.
Holly?
Yep.
This isn't the change.
Going to west somewhere.
Let's say get rid of the people.
Yeah,
Also,
Okay.
on the north
there we go.
elevation, we actually got rid of the skirt on the widow's walk, and we added the windows in the basement in the foundation. Pretty much doing them same way as they are right now, keeping the same windows. And the west elevation, biggest thing is the skirt on the widow's walk is visible. And then I just labeled more visibly all the windows, all the changes we did with the windows, shown which are new and which are staying existing ones, or existing size and type.
We
And
took the French doors off of that side and just put a single door.
yeah,
that
there's
are-
a single door.
They're existing. French doors are existing. We took them out.
Low grade?
And you can see how far back that new addition is. We're taking, if you recall, we're taking off the old 1996 additions in the back and putting on a new addition on the right there. When you go up to the upper left, that was the original 1996 edition, that whole back wing and that tall turret thing. And the porch and the French doors were all added in 1996. And one of the errors on the drawing from the last one is that the chimney's back up there.
Right. You just forgot.
Yeah,
to-
the chimney's back
last
up.
time.
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
it's not going anywhere.
All right.
And I think that was really it. The biggest concern that you guys had was the foundation, which is the handout I just gave you. We did an absolute survey of that foundation, and it's got to come up, it's got to have a new foundation, and we want to move it 2 feet away from the left-hand driveway, which is no longer on this property, because people have actually hit the side of the building with mirrors and their cars. It's very, very narrow, and if we just pick it up, we're picking it up to put a new foundation under it anyway. We're going to want to move it over 2 feet, but only 2 feet, because we have a town tree, which we've had Dale visit several times to give us the direction we can go, how far we can go, to stay away from the roots of the tree to the right. You should be able to see it here at some point. But there is a very big town tree, and we're protecting the town tree, and he's caretaking for it now. If you look at the pictures in the handout that I gave you, which is easier than trying to turn around and look at it. Oh, the other thing is that HSAB wanted us to keep the coal door, which is fine, which is there, right there in the foundation.
Okay.
You can still see coal on the inside of the foundation. What's interesting about this structure is when we went in, I went in with Hollis Webb, because you all wanted to know about these windows. There should be an email that you would have gotten, and Holly has it in front of her, that says there are no original windows left in this structure. They're all much of a more modern, there are a lot of Brosco in there, but it's much more of a modern window than the original window. So we finessed that part of it. And we're willing to do the TDLs in the front with wood storms and do the wood SDLs on the sides in the new addition, clearly. The foundation was questioned whether we need a new foundation. Half the building is a new foundation because it's all under new additions. But the foundation is interesting. There's only a, and I use that word loosely, full foundation in the front half of the building. When they moved that front part of the building in, it didn't have a back part. It ended at the ridge. I don't know what was left out in Capam and Sherburne, but that's why there's only this small section of front foundation, half brick, half rubble. When you look at come up the stairs, the whole backside from the main ridge back towards where the original part of the building was, is a crawl space, and it's sitting on dirt, and the building's on dirt. We looked at the framing with Hollis, and what's interesting about the framing is that only the front part of this structure came in from Sherburne. The whole backside from the main ridge back to the back wall was added at a later date, because you can see it in the timber frame. The timber frames don't match up, the sills don't match up, the foundations don't match up. It's kind of a eureka moment when we are really looking at the framing in detail. So I've detailed all of it. I have a lot more pictures of it to verify it. And you can see that some of it's beginning to crumble between the two sections. So we'd like to pick it up, put a foundation on it, put the rubble and the brick back on the outside where they are now, and proceed from there and get this done and stabilize the building. So unlike 65 Center, where we took it apart by hand and put it all back in the building by hand, Holly's been in there, several people have been in there since that. I thought I took you in after it was done. But I have that doc, I've got 500 pictures of that one. This one, we have taken the floors up, the original floors. Half of it was not original floor, the back half was not original floor. And we have a lot of milled wood interspersed with the old wood in the front part of the building. It's an interesting struggle in that building. We've taken all the beams out, the floor beams out that were old, and the floors out that were old, and we've saved a lot of the brick already. And all of that's being stored and sprayed and put back in the building again. But this building, we can sister into the existing frame. It's got enough substantial integrity for us to actually sister back into it, to give it some weight. But it needs a new foundation, or it's not going to hang around for a while. You fell down in one of those rooms, you'd roll to the corner kind of thing. But that's pretty much it. We're trying to just maintain the historic character of the structure and the oddity of it, which is why we're not replacing the frames.
Very good. Linda, thank you. Holly, how about you?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So for the record, this is a circa 1750 structure, the E.W. Cobb House, with that rear addition and a couple of side additions back in the 1990s. HSAB took a look at the revisions on April 25th. Additional photos still seem to show a usable front foundation. Keeping the existing rubble and brick along Main Street is important in keeping the character of this very old building. Moving this building is unnecessary and should not be allowed. The proposed dormer facing Main Street dominates the roof plane and it is unnaturally high position. It puts the windows out of alignment with the other second floor windows. The dormer should be eliminated. The roof walk should not be allowed as one never existed on this house before. The proposed chimney is too tall and should be retained in the same place as the original. The central fireplaces and chimney stack are the most character-defining elements of an antique house, and all efforts should be made to maintain and restore them. The west elevation front window is out of balance and should be eliminated. The new middle window should align with the window below. The east elevation windows should remain in place. All existing historic windows should be restored rather than replaced. The wide full width steps on the west should be narrower, and HSAB respectfully requests revisions if the commission so inclined. Regarding the windows, we received that email from Hollis Webb. Just for the record, he is basically a preservationist contractor. He has education from school in Boston and knows conservation. Has his own business. He said that after a close inspection of the double hung weighted 6/6 sash windows at 126 Main, it is apparent that not one original sash exists in the building. All but a few of the windows are likely third or fourth generation 6/6 windows, which could be very typical for Nantucket. From staff's perspective, appreciate the foundation photos. I agree on some of the comments that HSAB made. Moving this historic structure is not necessary as its location is a character-defining feature of the structure. Appreciate the update on the windows from Hollis. Additive massing is appropriate, and appreciate the addition not on the main block as proposed, where it should be, but the gable dormer on the facade of the addition is not in keeping with the historic evolution of typical Nantuckets and not appropriate. TDLs appreciated are appropriate on all facades facing Main Street and visible from the public way versus versus SDLs. And again, moving this historic structure doesn't seem necessary. Appreciate the French doors, the 12 light with the 2 panel, and the revising the existing and reusing the existing historic brick for the chimney, although it would rather see the existing central mass chimney stay. It should match as is. There is discrepancies. It sounds like it's staying, but if you look at the existing elevation versus the proposed, there are some discrepancies in that. So I just wanted to point that out. Appreciate the rear mass not up to the top of the historic main mass ridge. That's more in keeping with the evolution of these structures. So those are the comments, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, can I comment on just one of those comments that seems to run between the two?
Holly, thank you.
The word necessary. Nothing anybody brings into the HCC is necessary.
No, okay.
We're asking to pick it, we got to pick it up, we got to put a full foundation underneath, and we'd like to
Linda,
move it 2 feet to get it away from that driveway.
All the members of the board are very
Okay.
familiar with
The
it.
necessary, unnecessary is
Hang on.
immaterial.
Understood. I do have a practical question
Practically, yes.
regarding the chimney.
Yeah.
Okay, so the way I see this is it's not the original chimney. You're moving the chimney, correct?
Yep.
Just got to go
I
back to
think
the
the
front
answer is
elevation.
yes. Because if you look at where the current chimney is, it's
moved,
kind of,
yeah.
Yeah.
it's moving. And so
It's moved,
the
so you
note
can
that I'm
put it
reading
next
is
to it.
that you're going to rebuild the chimney using the original brick and all that. And it seems that you're also making it higher to avoid the issue of fire with regard to the new roof walk. Is that all correct?
The roof walk. Yep.
Yep.
Oh, okay, just as long as the board understands, because I think there was some misunderstanding about whether we're keeping the original chimney or not, and it sounds like we're not. Okay, thank you, Linda. Diane?
Could you just?
Yeah.
Say one word?
Want me to go?
Yeah, hang
Hold
on, just 1 second, Diane.
On that chimney, it is the existing, that what's there now, is that in the center? Is that centered in the roof?
Not
Or is
exactly.
Not quite centered,
Not
no.
exactly.
It was added after they put the two pieces together.
In the
So it's
1990
sort of, no, it's sort of towards the back part that was added after they moved the structure. The chimney didn't come with it from Sherburne. It was added after the fact, so it's a little bit more tipped towards the back side of the ridge. And it's not sitting on anything, which is what's kind of alarming on the
sitting on
inside.
anything?
It's
You mean
cavitated underneath some of it, and
But
it's in between the two structures.
Okay.
But you are rebuilding it.
Up on top.
Okay,
Definitely that.
thank you.
Okay, Diane, I think you were ready to speak, is that right?
Yeah, I think there's a lot to speak of, maybe in a couple sessions. First of all, as long as we're there, I think the roof walk is inappropriate. It's a 1750 house, and they didn't have roof walks on houses like this then. So they came from Sherburne or whatever. It's not appropriate as far as I'm concerned. The original chimney should stay where it is. How tall is this building at the time, at now?
How tall is the building?
Yeah.
The building.
It's not gonna get any taller.
It's not getting any taller, but it's basically, it's about,
2511.
no,
see
it's
it now.
more than that. I
Well,
don't have
because
my,
the
here.
property slopes towards the street, so you have to sort of go down this side of the building.
Diane,
Yep,
at the front of the building, like right under the front door there, the building is 30 and a half feet high, 30 feet 6 inches.
okay,
Okay?
yep, thank you.
Mhm.
Anyway, that is what I think about the roof walk and the chimney. I think the chimney should stay where it is. Roof walk should go. It's not going with the house. I'd like to see another side of it rather than the front door. I don't mind that front door.
What, Diane, I didn't hear that. What was that?
Oh,
I
she wants
needed to
another
see
side.
another elevation.
Oh. Okay. I think we haven't seen the east elevation yet.
No, let's look at the east because I got the west here.
The east is the side on the driveway.
Okay, I got the north elevation.
There we go.
There's the east. Okay, the problem with the roof walk would disappear if it was removed. And this is where it drops down to the front door, right? That your land
Yeah.
there.
It goes up pretty steeply to a back lot, the other lot.
Yeah. I see. I don't think I have any complaint about the east elevation. The existing east, you're demoing out, that roof is dropped down, that's good. So, it's good. I don't think it has many complaints about it. So let's look back at the west.
There you go.
Okay. And your lower French doors there on the west elevation under the old part.
Yep. They're
you're
coming
not
out.
gonna- Yeah, all right. And I don't mind that chimney going, the roof walk going, not roof walk, the ridge of the dormer coming down. I think that the window the middle window should come, can you make it come over so it's over the window below it?
Oh, I'm sure we can. That's simple.
Okay,
That's the second floor window?
Yes.
yeah, the second floor window just needs to be moved just a little tiny bit.
Yeah, probably 6 inches.
It looks like that. It really is very
Yeah.
small, but it catches your eye for some reason or other. So let's look quick at the south.
That's the part you can't see. Mostly
Can't
new.
see-
Yeah,
Can't see
that's
it
the
all.
new part. That's the new part where we took the old one off.
Okay. I'd like to have some official opinion or some from the rest of the commissioners as to what they think of the front foundation, the old foundation,
Hmm.
whether it is sturdy enough to remain, or whether it would be technically bad to put cinder block behind it so it can't buckle. I don't know, but I think Hassab and Holly both wanted that foundation to stay if it could, and it seems to me you ought to be able to work around. I know that's what they did here at my house.
Well, they don't have a foundation, Diane, under
Linda,
half of
Linda's-
it. So
Hang on.
we'd have to do something anyway.
Yeah, but I was thinking the front, we do have a foundation on the front
Uh,
elevation.
It's
So that-
cracking and leaking.
Linda, stop.
All right.
So that is at the north elevation. The dormer over to the right is not appropriate. Would the little windows. What are the little windows for at underneath the two windows at the front door?
Oh, those are basement windows. We have them. They're already
Are they
there.
going to-
Yeah.
Are you going to have
Yeah.
vegetation in front of them and all that stuff?
No, because it's at 0 setback now and they're exposed now. I don't think I can get anything in front of them. You can see them now in the old structure.
Right.
They're there. They're just disintegrated.
All right, well, I think we need more information on the foundation to come up with a good call on it. Otherwise, I would leave it at this for this time until we get more information. But the roof walk is again not something I would approve, and the chimney, the original chimney should stay where it was, amongst other things. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
Diane, thanks very much. Abby, you ready?
Yeah, I just, yeah, big project. Linda.
Yeah,
Hmm.
tell me about it.
So my first concern is the front elevation with the two dormers. I think they look too modern.
Abby, could you get closer to your mic, please?
She just turned it on. It
Sorry,
was on.
Terry.
That helps too.
There you go.
Sorry, Derry. So my main concern is are the dormers on that right-hand massing.
Okay.
I think it looks too modern. I think the chimney, if it's going to be moved, I think it's more, if it's going to move anyway, I think it's more historic to have it in the center. I think on the roof walk, I mean, there are a lot of houses with roof walks. I think it might be fine in a simple way. Just, are there colors on the trim chosen yet? Are they gonna stay with white?
It's on the application. I haven't
Okay.
actually, I've
So-
done all the rest of it. I have not looked at the actual application for a while. What is it, Esmeralda?
If, so I'm looking at that gray and it's kind of a blue purple gray.
White to match existing.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I would suggest, So are you going to paint, if you did the brick in front, would you paint it or would you?
We'd go back to the gray that's on the foundation now, which
Yeah.
it looks like it's a Quaker gray, maybe a little lighter than
Yeah,
the
it's
Quaker
It is
gray.
Quaker gray.
It's
Yeah.
a little blue looking in the photographs, but I don't know. if it's-
We'd paint it.
Oh, yeah, that one looks better. Okay, so, just from some experience, I think I might even have that same architect in my house
Huh,
on 27 Lily Street. I really do think it is Cobb.
that's interesting.
And we had the same situation with the brick and the rubble going back. And we made a huge hole in the front and dug it out with, dug out the basement and redid the foundation by, I think we lifted it 2 feet and then replaced the foundation and brought it down. Not, maybe it was, no, couldn't have been 2 feet, it was just a couple of inches. But we were able to redo the foundation that way, almost by hand. And as to the windows, I don't know, I guess it's just the tradition that we do the TDLs. Sorry to say that we haven't tried one of the SDLs.
Yeah, we did on 11 Pleasant Street.
But, well, I mean, for now, I would stick with the TDLs until we change that. And then maybe going towards the back of the house, I wouldn't mind using SDLs if they had a thinner muntin.
Oh, yeah.
Those are my main concerns.
Very good. Thank you, Abby. Val?
Okay. With regard to the move, I just am hesitant to change our policy on that since we've had 27 North Liberty in front of us for how long. I think to be consistent, whatever the reason for the move is, it should be a no. I think a new foundation is great. On the rear is wonderful. I remember doing a house on Center Street somewhere, and to keep the rubble, we had to pour the foundation inside the one that was existing. So that's maybe something to think about, at least on the front.
That's brick, Val, where you can see it is brick. It's brick above here, above the top,
Well-
bottom 3 feet, it's brick.
Same
front.
thing.
Whatever
Brick,
the
rubble.
material is, I think our point is to keep the material that's there, looking the way that it does. So, the chimney, I appreciate adding back a chimney. I think for me, it's corbelling it so it looks more traditional, like the old chimney, as opposed to what is drawn here. The dormer, I thought I heard a lot of comments about a gabled dormer, but it's a shed dormer, so I got a little bit confused. And I think if it's a little bit smaller and the window panes are narrower to match the 6/6 windows, I think right now it's kind of horizontal, which is also throwing off anybody's
Yep.
look of it. And the fact that the window doesn't go all the way up to the eave line.
Yep.
So maybe a smaller I don't know, you guys have to play around with that, but,
Yep.
and then my other question on that was, could they be hopper instead of casement or fixed?
Sure.
I have nothing on the west, nothing on the south,
What about the roof walk?
or the east. And, I'm okay with the roof walk, especially because there isn't a skirt on the side that faces the street. It is the type of house that would have supported a roof walk or could have. So yeah, those are my comments.
Okay, Val, thank you. Stephen?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. So I'll kind of back into this from the top down. Skirt, no skirt on the roadside. Chimney, I'll address with the foundation.
Stay there for a second. Are you okay with the roof walk? If there's
Yeah, no
in the
skirt.
front? Okay, yeah.
No skirt on the front.
Right.
The dormer, I think downsizing and/or trying to integrate a traditional design element such as a sheet material. So the windows are closer together. The dormer might be slightly smaller. There's historical references you can pick up. So you're eliminating the shingles and you're making that a painted surface
On where?
on the dormer. you could play around with that and it might get you some space. I'm not going to design what I'm saying at the table. What I'm saying is I think there are historical references that you can demonstrate and incorporate into the design, including that is a rather tallish facade without a window, is in the addition, the alteration to the addition with a dormer versus a
Two-story.
two-story, it makes that the area of the second floor below the eave appear out of proportion. And I think you might be able to find historical references for some type of facial work there that comes off of that aligns with the porch roof fascia, the beam fascia. There's things you can do to address that. That disproportion area is I think unsettling.
You're saying too much wall plane?
Yeah, it's just inappropriate. It makes the width of that addition stand out more than it would, I think, if there was some other element incorporated.
Cool.
Frankly, I prefer the previous north elevation with respect to the flush face dormer. I think that's more appropriate than what's there, but I think you could work with it.
Okay.
For me, I think with respect to consistency and on Liberty too, if, looking at these images, there's a saying in the trades, caulk and paint make a carpenter what he ain't. And there could be things hidden. We don't know. I do think the idea of an engineered determination is an important one. For me, that's kind of a key, because if you're going to have to replace the foundation, as with Liberty, a move then to me of a small amount is not an issue. Much more of an issue if the foundation were intact structurally.
If I had
And then that feeds into the chimney, which is if there is going to be a move or there are problems with the masonry, and that comes up in your engineer study, that to me would substantiate replacing it with a more than less reproduction version, slightly improved, to include comments about corbelling and whatnot. Those are my comments. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Thanks, Stephen. So am I hearing that we want to get an engineering report on the foundation?
I think so.
I'd be
Whether-
willing to take anybody in there as well. We got to be careful, because if the floors are up and we're literally
No,
walking
I
on dirt,
see
but
that.
you could see,
Yeah.
I gave you like 30 pictures of it, but if you want to come in the house, I can bring you guys in the house.
Okay.
It's quite an amazing thing. I can show you the structural issues in there. It's pretty cool.
Well, so here, I'll do the top down just the way Stephen did it. Good with the roof walk, assuming that it's drawn correctly. Right now you have the floorboards
Yeah.
cutting through the post, which we know is not correct.
Yep.
Unskirted, yes.
In the front.
In the front, yeah,
Okay.
in the front. The dormer thing, I was liking Val's idea about matching the pane size of the A windows, which is narrower.
Yep.
Because right now the D windows look more square. The format of the panes is more square.
Yep.
Than in the A windows. I'd like to see more, if not a literal top half of the sash, then a proportionally scaled top half of the sash on those two windows.
Okay.
In the dormer. I don't object to the dormer, particularly since you pushed it back. That's it for everything save the foundation. And I guess, I'm of the mind that if a house is sitting on rubble, it's going to continue to decline and sag unless something is done. And whether that something is done on the interior, which is done often out here where you pour concrete from the inside and leave the exterior skin the way it is, that's one way to do it. The other way, of course, is to just build it new and apply a veneer. And if we go down that route, I'm going to caution everyone that that's okay to do with brick, because brick as a material is very uniform and it's easy to lay down and to copy the way it is. But once you get into the rubble, I've seen people do it well, and I've seen a lot more people do it very poorly, brick veneer, like an example, and I think I can do this without getting into too much trouble. The 1800 house that the NHA owns is an absolute horror of a redone rubble foundation, because they basically stuck the flat stones, into the concrete, and it looks ridiculous. It does not look like a rubble foundation at all.
Yeah.
So I would want to make sure that whatever is done is faithful to the pictures that I'm seeing right now, which is a real rubble foundation. Those are my comments.
How do you feel about picking it up and moving it over 2 feet to get it off that driveway?
I know why you're doing that. I'm going to put that out of my mind right now. Rebuilt chimney, I don't object to.
Okay.
Once again, as long as it remains very faithful to the details of the chimney as they exist. I'd like to see some photos taken from up there that would show how the corbelling and such is done. Now,
shall I make a motion?
yeah, but let me just finish with that
Oh, I'm
conclusion
sorry.
of the house move. I'm not against the house move or a new foundation, provided that assurances are given to us that the new foundation will look just like the pictures of this old foundation right here.
That's the plan.
The brick and the rubble.
And we're going to set a benchmark. We've already identified the
Okay.
area to put the benchmark so it doesn't get any higher.
It's more about the details for me than the height. Diane, were you about to move for some revisions?
I was going to move for revisions and an engineer's report.
Okay, that on the foundation, of course, right?
Yes.
That sounds fine. All right, so on Diane's motion, Val,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Diane on your motion,
Aye.
and I'm in favor, motion carries. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
Okay, Joseph.
And if anybody'd like to go in it, it's really fascinating to look at the frame.
I'm sure it's fascinating.
Everybody's got my cell phone. I can take you guys in there.
I'm sure somebody in the trade is fascinating and frightening at the same time.
But it's the way they put the back piece way after the front piece. We don't know what happened to the back piece of the original structure. It just didn't exist. It's kind of cool to look at the difference in the wood and where they're sistered.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Were you in on Bishop's Rise?
Yes.
Okay. Ooh, it's the dream team.
Yes, it is.
Okay, same board.
And we have Don Bracken up there somewhere.
Don Bracken, son of a gun. Okay.
Welcome to the HDC, Joe.
Thanks for having me. Right back at you.
In person. Just in a nutshell, Val, you made comments quickly about those secondary dwelling garage things. We went back to almost the original because you liked the original. So we took all those long pieces off the garages.
Okay, so we are reviewing the garage.
Yeah, and you already approved the first house on Lot A, which is the first one up the hill.
This is the same board for all these.
It's the same board.
Yeah.
Nikki?
Mr. Chair, I think in the minutes, there's a discontinuity between what's in the agenda and who's listed. So Carrie's listed as being on this as of March 22nd,
Oh,
and John was not.
okay, so then Carrie,
Was that the last time we were
you
heard?
good?
Yeah, I recall being on it.
Okay, I trust Stephen's computer a little. All right,
No, we've got comments, guys. Guys,
Right, we have different.
we have in the minutes, which we have right here. We have Cole, Camp, McLaughlin, Coombs, Oliver. And obviously alternates are Welch, Dutra, and Thornwell.
okay,
What are the
what's the
date?
date of those minutes?
February 8th.
Yeah, these are March 22nd.
And did we actually hear it then, or did we put it over? I know we put it over one time without being heard. I just want to check.
Is there any,
Any comments on them? Yes, I believe there was comments on them. Were comments.
and there's discussion?
Yeah, I believe there
Okay,
was.
So look, Stephen has on his computer, HC minutes of March 22nd.
Right.
For the garage, 20A, which we're reviewing, and we have comments from you, Linda, Val, Carrie, Diane, Abby, myself.
Okay.
That's what we're looking at.
And I'm the alternate at that point.
Yeah.
Okay?
No longer can you call yourself an alternate.
Okay,
All right, so
So-
what's happened here is there was relatively little comment about the big house on B. So we'll stay down on A, which is the gable form. There were a lot of comments on this one. There were a lot of comments about trying to understand the grade because we're cutting the whole top of the hill off on both of these, A and B, and sinking them into the ground, unlike every single house around us, which is built on top of their properties, including those lovely pictures I gave you for the
Right.
lovely things on
so
Eel
Linda, we
Point
just
Road.
basically wanted reassurances in the form of what Joseph has provided us, which is existing and proposed
Yeah,
topo.
and then Don Bracken worked with us and verified the grade changes. And he's here somewhere up there, I guess.
Okay, I'm not sure we need to go there unless anybody is questioning.
Well, what's left on this one is the pool behind the house, sunk into the, behind the house and the garage. And so that's where we're here right now.
So I have Dawn's site plan, which matches mine. Go down.
Yeah.
I just brought it in DWG.
Listen, I don't think anybody is questioning the veracity of your
No, I'm not.
grading.
Yeah.
It's just that we wanted to see it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now we can see it. So it's not about, you
Well, it's been
know,
on the original plan, that's why. I
okay,
brought it
Yeah,
well,
we just wanted to make sure that we had something pinned.
now it also looks like you made revisions. Like
Yes.
I'm looking at the previous garage studio east and I'm looking at the proposed and they seem to have been pretty substantially revised. So can you just walk through that stuff for us?
So on the west elevation, Abby had a problem with the fenestration, thought it was unfenestrated, so we added, just kind of balanced out the windows and relocated a door. And the other was we added an addition where Abby didn't like the dormer, so we added the bedroom to the south side of the house.
I don't see the previous,
They're up in the corner.
I
If
see.
Esmeralda can back up. So there's previous.
but there was no addition.
There wasn't one in between this.
No, this is, all I've submitted is these two drawings, is this one and then the other
There was
one.
one of this that was,
Right.
there was one, yeah.
We're talking about you modified an addition, but we don't have that.
I didn't do that. I don't know what you're talking about. I've only done two drawings.
They didn't like it.
This one seems okay to me. It's better than what am I recalling?
Now, you know, there's a 20B, which is a gambrel.
Right. That's.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but the comments are like I said, the addition is big, it's the same size as main mass, and we don't see that. We see something without an addition and then a modified. I'm
Oh,
assuming a small.
I'm hearing what you're saying now. Yeah, yeah. In other words, we reviewed this already.
Yeah.
well,
In-
we should just
'Cause-
review this now.
Yeah, we did, because I have, oh.
Okay, it's starting to clarify for me, because you had the original, which was this big, and then the revisions, it became this big.
Right.
It became bigger. That's what we're looking at now.
Correct.
But has it been modified? The bigger version has been modified again, or no?
No, this is the only addition I've ever done.
Okay, so we're re-reviewing the same thing, right?
Yeah, so the,
No, well, no.
Mr. Chairman, if I
Please, I'm confused.
This, you already reviewed this application, I think you were just questioning the grade.
Oh, well,
Yes.
okay, all
that's,
right.
right,
So-
that's why I'm like so confused, because it was about the grade.
Well, no. What's that?
Maybe we didn't talk about the structure, we got bogged down in the grade, but we
No.
did see this before. I know
We
we've seen
did.
this before.
So, Joe, you're
We
saying
just
the only
didn't-
thing that's changed
we
is
must
that
not
you've
have
added,
talked
because
about
I was given the wrong drawings. I have the gambrel, which is the B lot.
That's the B that's coming up.
Yeah, but so now we have the dashed lines. On the previous, we had it there too.
The comment comments for the garage were,
Oh.
it seems big, the
We're gonna
addition's
review
the
that in
same
a
size
second.
as the main mass, north elevation has a lot of single wall brick height. Suggested reconfiguring the program on the ground floor. It's coming in at 25, should be 24. I mean, there are comments.
Use your microphone.
Oh, sorry. I think the comments that we made the last time were on this version, which maybe it got disconnect between here and Joe, but we did ask for some changes.
Did you ask for grade change?
We asked for grade information.
Yeah, it's not white, which we thought would be, and it's got a wood roof, which we thought would be, or not wood, it's cobblestone. Yeah. We thought it would be sort of insignificant compared to the house right in front of us, which is completely visible and all white. We decided not to go all white and go to natural or a gray color on this one. We have different grays on the two of them, all different grays, but we went gray. And it certainly is more subdued than the one in front of us, which you have pictures of in the file. We've got pictures of every house on Bishop's Rise in the file, and almost all of them are white trim, white porches, white columns, white garages, white garage doors. We don't have anything white on this property at all, and it's also
So-
set down below the other house, way down below the other
Hang on,
house.
hang on. Do we all agree that the drawings that we're looking at right now have not been changed since
Correct.
the last time we all agreed to that, correct?
Yes.
You even
yes.
said the left wing should drop to match the right wing.
Okay.
We can do that if we can do it through
all
staff,
right.
that's easy.
So, listen, let's just cut to the chase on this one. I think unless somebody's had like an incredible change of heart, what we would like to see is revisions to the architecture that reflect the board's comments.
If we, just through you, Mr. Chairman, if, Val, if we dropped that whole left wing down so it was actually even with the other wing, for the most part,
Well, that's
With the
a foot
dormer
and a
in it?
half.
yeah, with a dormer in it. Probably the dormer would pop up, Joe?
The
Yeah, dormer would pop
dormer-
up. Would that do that through
That
staff?
window can come down a bit and be the same as the others. That window's a little higher than the others.
Yeah, can we do that through staff?
Drop a little bit.
Yeah, we can lower it.
This is a major production
I would
out
love
there.
that. Well, okay.
That's my
Yeah, I
only.
As
That
long
was
as,
Ray's
as long as
comment.
we're horse trading here, because I just as soon get rid of this.
We
How
would
does everybody
too.
feel?
Yeah,
Let's see.
I'm good with that as a staff approval. if I have to
Um, So thank you, Carrie. Abby?
How does the dormer manifest itself in the new,
It would pop up.
So this would come
go
down.
up in there? like a
This,
flush?
this window, as Carrie observed, is actually, oh,
We're
you
gonna
know
need
what,
egress window on the
Carrie?
end, so we don't need an egress window
Seems to
there.
be about the same height.
Yeah.
This window would need to drop down a little bit because that would be.
Or
Oh,
Ray,
you're
we'd pick
talking
it up.
about just that, not, see, it's not this.
We'd pick it up.
Drop the eave down.
Yeah.
Drop the eave down
I
so
can drop
it's.
the eave down and then.
As
Oh, yeah, drop everything.
Yeah,
down.
everybody,
Right.
everybody
and the
comes
dormer
down.
Goes with it, or the dormer and window
It's
go
the
with
same
it.
as the other side?
Okay, sounding positive on this side of the table. Let's see, Diane, you're on this, right?
Yep.
So do you understand what the proposal on the table is?
Yeah, I do. I
Okay,
To
what do you
drop-
think?
dropped the left-hand side down so it's the same height as the right-hand side. Dropped the shed dormer down,
Bless you.
and
That-
so it will pop up a little bit over it. And the other question I have is, this seems to be, from what you have shown on a flat plateau, how much are you removing of the existing land to make it flat? It's not flat out there.
There's actually a dip there, Diane, as we come off the hill and we drop the house down and cut off a lot of grade from the top of it. And as we get down towards where the driveway comes in, there's actually, it drops down again into a dip and we're just filling in the hole. so it can be flat.
I understand that, but how much you taking off the top, we don't build on plateaus.
Diane, can I just ask Esmeralda to help us out? Can you go back to elevations, first elevation? So you'll see a little dash line on the bottom.
Yep,
That's the existing grade. Down
Right.
the bottom right, see the dash line?
yep.
So as you go from elevation to elevation, you can see what was existing to what's proposed.
Okay, so Joe, right
That-
here, where my shadow is.
Correct.
That's the existing grade, so you're filling this much
Just on the backside.
on the backside, and then if we look at the others. We can scroll,
Where's the north side?
So we're not really touching anything there.
you know, that's pretty close to the existing,
Correct.
right?
Going.
Not really touching much there.
Not touching much there, and then,
West.
Now we're adding about a foot and a half.
there's the difference
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, it falls off pretty steeply right there.
Yep.
Okay, so everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Yep.
What about the, we're not at the
We're
pool.
not there yet.
Not
That's
yet.
behind the structure.
So just because the mass on the left is wider than the mass on the right, the ridge of the left, even though it's coming down, is not going to be equal to the one on the right.
Well, and
I
that's
personally
okay.
think is
Well, that's
good.
a-
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I
To
personally
get
think,
closer, but not.
yeah, but I think it's
dropping-
better that it's not the same,
It'll be dropping it, the ridge on that left-hand side will drop about
that
an
much.
ounce.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so Diane,
Yep.
you've concluded?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's see, Abby,
Yeah, I'm good.
you good?
So, yes, I'm good.
All right. And Carrie, you sounded good, right, Val?
Yeah.
Everybody good? Okay, so we know what we're doing here.
Thank you.
Do you?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Or
I
try.
apologize. The night of the night of the meeting, I blew my knee out, so I was
Oh,
out
yeah.
in the emergency room. So I apologize. That's totally
Um,
fine.
no worries.
So I would motion to approve through staff with I'm looking at the west elevation to make this statement.
Yeah.
The left side to drop down so that the eave line is even with the right-hand massing, understanding that it will still be higher than and not equal to that mass.
And the mass on the east side.
Right.
So basically dropping the west eave to match the east eave. Or no, the left eave to match the right eave, sorry.
Correct.
Correct.
That's
So
my
that
motion.
is Val's motion, on Val's motion. Carrie,
I,
thank you. Abby,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
thank you. Val on your motion.
Aye.
And I'm in favor too. Good. That one's one down.
There wasn't any comment about the pool, because it's behind the building and down behind it, literally down behind it, and the grade.
Thanks.
So the grade got built up.
Actually, no, sorry. That's
No,
the one
actually,
I'm,
the grade is cut.
this is the one
cut
we're
behind the house.
doing next.
It's cut into the,
Yeah.
Yes.
Cut behind the house and drop down behind the house. You
Oh.
can't see it anyway because we have,
thanks.
if you go back to the site plan.
Hold on a second, Linda, please, sorry. I didn't make any comment about including the Bracken information.
Oh, we can put it in.
That was given to Esmeralda. It is in the file, and it would.
Do you want me to note that?
Yeah,
Uh,
to also add to the file the information on the grade changes.
I'm gonna put that down in the notes.
Yep.
All right.
It's already in the file.
It's already in the file. Okay,
So the
very
pool
good.
is cut down behind the house. If you can see all the hash marks around the little white circle, we cannot touch that vegetation. We were very, very clear about where we could and could not build, which is why that pool is right up against the house and
We
inside.
can't hear you, Linda.
Everybody can hear me normally. The little white section is the area that we're allowed to build in by the state, by MIPA, MISA, whatever you want to call it, and the septic. Yeah, go back, stay on the other one, Esmeralda, it's easy, there you go, thanks. The hash mark section, we can't touch. The only thing we can clear is that small section right in the middle, which is why everything's so close in there. And the same thing up on the hill in front of us. They're very close, but there's a lot of structures. And so it's blocked on the pictures I put into the file before when we were still on Zoom. It's completely blocked from Bishop's Rise by that vegetation, and it's set down actually below the vegetation. So it's down below the road. So it's impossible to see it anyway. And obviously that same condition, not visible at the time of inspection, is the norm. So we don't really have much to say more about it.
Okay. Thank you.
And everybody up there has a pool. Of course they do.
Who'd care to begin on this?
This is 62. This is 54. Down.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Carrie can go.
I'm fine with the pool. The long cobble wall, in my mind, is so.
You can't see it, Carrie. It's down
I know
below.
you can't see it, but the homeowners are gonna see it, and I just wonder if there can be some organic nature to it. I mean, it's just,
We can't slope it.
I don't know.
We can't slope it towards the pool because of the regulation. They're holding us there.
Make it like work with some landscape and curvature, or something natural. It just seems so.
If you could see it, I would agree.
terrifying.
But we have all that vegetation and it's actually
Yeah,
below,
no,
it's
I
on the
get
back
it.
side of it. So you can't see it at all,
I get that.
fortunately.
Are the walls, sorry,
I'm
I just wanted to ask, are the 4 foot and 5 foot high stone walls that you have in the picture there, where are those?
Right here.
right along that.
It's just one.
Right on the edge of
It's
the
one
main-
and it's very long.
And just because I know this neighborhood really, really well, there's a lot of stone walls up there.
So,
Do we have a picture of it?
Yeah, they can get that up on the screen. We have a picture of the type of material, but go ahead, Abby.
can I continue? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, to Carrie's point about it sort of not going with the natural topography, I was wondering if, you could sort of maybe bring in that pool a little bit, maybe the hardscaping gets rounded, or just something to make it not so squared off and make it more like the topography.
I'd agree with that, Abby, normally, but because it's on the backside, it's below the road and below the vegetation. And we can't really, we'd have to move the house, have to move the pool, have to move the septic. Everything would have to move in order to get that wall to undulate. And there is no room to undulate because it's running right up the side of the house to we had to cut the grade down and right up the side of the pool. So it's impossible to move anything other than where we have it right now because we're so
I'm not
packed.
sure I agree with that. I mean, and whether or not this is a big point. Okay, so Diane, there's the type of wall.
Which one are we doing? The left one or the right one?
Well, so there's a 5 foot high wall, so I'm going to guess that that's the one on the right-hand side.
Correct.
Could I just,
Yeah.
just want to say that at the road, there's one marking that says 56 feet above sea level. And then there's another one that says down near the pool, it says 56. So if you're driving by, I don't see how you're not going to see the pool. I mean, I don't.
It's, the top of it is like 60 something. And we're cutting it down, like we cut the house down. The house has already started out there, by the way. If you cut it down, it's cut down behind the house. So it's leveled out behind the house. But all of that is lower than the street, lower than the vegetation between us and the street. We can't touch it. And
So
that's
the
like
pool,
70 feet.
if the pool is below 56, it's by 4 or 5 feet?
That's
No.
about 56, right there.
There's
But
a
that
rise.
The pool is about elevation 55.
55.
And it's cut down, that whole section is cut down, see, look on the left. You can see where that wall is on the left. we are actually below the level of the street, which goes up to the street on the.
Well,
Here.
there's
Below
a
the-
rise between the street
Yeah,
level
I
and
see
then
that there are a few
the-
Yes.
numbers in
You can't
between.
see it.
I see that, but if we do approve it, first of all, I think it should be 40 feet is pretty long. I think it could be shortened, and it would have that caveat that it couldn't be seen.
It's like 250 feet off the street.
Yeah, it's,
You'll never see
you gotta
this.
see this, you gotta be in
You'll
it.
never see it.
You'll never
I
see
would
it.
like-
Back
You'll
up
never
the
Wait. Are we talking about the wall or the pool?
pool and then
Area.
midway of the stone wall is 75 to 85 feet off the road that starts.
Below the road.
So it's not even running parallel to the road. You're going to be, you won't even be able to see because of where the driveway is.
You know, I'm kind of agreeing with this.
I trust
Right. Thank
it
you.
won't be seen.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's see, Abby.
Can I
I
finish?
said it.
Okay, go ahead, Diane. Yes, go.
I'm sorry, I'd like to look at the stone wall. There were, the picture that I got had two. One looked like the cobblestones were sunk into cement and the other looked like they were laid. I would not,
Both of those walls are going to be in cement.
Yeah, and that's just a picture that we got, to show you the type of stone. That's not the wall.
well, I'd like to see what the hell the wall looked like.
Well, that's it, because that's the stone and that's how it's gonna be laid below grade.
The one on the left.
The left and the right are the same. One has a shadow line because it's not directly in the sun. The one on the right is directly in the sun. So they're the same, they just look different.
Oh, all right, fine. It looks like it had been sent in cement with the gaps.
No,
which was
No, it's two
not what the
intersecting
other
walls.
one looks like. So that's what I wanted to know, what was going to put there. And also just to note that we're are bringing this again up to a platform, filling in filling in the landscape thing.
No, we're cutting.
no, they're cutting 6 to 8 feet off the top. We're
I know,
cutting
but
down
that's
to
called
get
making a
level,
platform out of something that isn't.
but lower than the top. So we're not
What-
platforming and we're plateauing, yes.
Okay, let's
We
not
are
go back- let's not go-
plateauing it, but not
let's go
platform.
Back and forth, Linda. Go ahead, Diane.
No, it's just, which we're platforming, whatever, everything out there and putting it all on a flat area, and it's not flat out there. One of the charms about Bishop's Rise is it goes up and down, up and down. And what good is that if every house is built on, every whole area is built on a flat thing? 8 feet is more than we approve as added or retracted land. 2.5 feet is supposed to be what we are considering is good. 8 feet is not, and I don't see any application for removing 8 feet to make a flat building area. But that's just me. It annoys me that they're all getting flat areas where the land is not.
Okay, thank you, Diane. I'm going to address that in a second, the grading stuff, just so that there's some more clarity. Val, I don't think you've gone yet.
I don't have anything, I know that,
You got nothing?
no, nothing.
Got nothing.
I got nothing.
Okay, so Val's folding, so 4 are left in the game. Could we go to the site plan for a second?
Keith,
Yeah, okay. So I I don't think anybody is going to dispute this. But, up at the road where it says Bishops, oops. Sorry. Okay, so let's all agree on a few things. This platform that Diane was just talking about, this flat platform, is about elevation 55.
Right.
Okay? That line up there that cuts through Bishops is also 55, so they're the same height. The road is at the same height as the platform.
That's not what I was talking about.
Well, no, I haven't finished yet. Okay, now this area, this big old area right here is at elevation 60. So this is a hill. Right here, we got a hill coming up and it's getting cut. And this is where the retainage is, so that you're going to go from elevation 60, 5 feet down to elevation 55. Then you're going to have a flat platform, and then it's going to drop off right here to whatever it is at the edge of the mesa line. So that's the platform, and the wall faces kind of, away from Bishop's Way. Does anyone disagree with that?
No.
Okay.
Accurate.
Except if you want to go back up to the top where you can't see it right now.
So
It's even higher in the back. No, the other way,
you mean over
No.
here?
No, behind you,
right where your head is.
right where your head is.
That's even higher back there.
Oh, higher than 60?
Keep going.
Yeah.
So they're digging a bowl.
Yeah.
We're just cutting it down so we don't build anything on top of
Okay.
the hill like
The
everybody.
long and
Well,
short,
the
the long and
numbers say
short is,
48.
yes, it is getting cut into the,
It's not higher.
No, it goes, then it goes.
Here,
off.
I'll be
Goes up.
able to tell.
Here.
No,
right
if it was higher, Linda, then you'd need retaining again.
Yeah, no, it drops
It's
down
dropping
on this
off.
side.
It
Maybe it
drops
goes
off.
back up
Yeah.
again. Maybe it
You're
goes,
talking about-
Okay,
this goes down right here at the street side
Yeah.
here.
okay,
These-
all of
Linda's
that is to
confused
say
her.
that I'm fairly convinced that even though it is a large and in the middle of it all, tall wall at 5 feet, that it's not going to be visible. And I can tell you for sure that the pool is not going to be visible because of the house. Those are my comments.
So could I just,
Yeah.
is there going to be additional screening from the road towards the pool?
We
Or is-
can't touch it.
Yeah, this,
I mean, over there where it says 120.95, is that
that's
going to be?
all Mesa.
It's
It's all-
natural
They're not
shade
allowed to
tree.
cut
We
that.
can't touch it.
What is it, like Russian?
It's Russian
Olive,
cedar.
It's going to be
all
like
kinds of
scrub
stuff.
oaks and
And it's,
stuff.
and it's 5 feet higher than we are.
Yeah.
Just covering my ass.
No,
Where's
it's
that
it's
hill?
good. But they have an envelope that was created by Mass,
Yeah.
what's the acronym?
Yeah.
Massachusetts,
NEPA.
something or other.
These are-
But they're not allowed to touch that land. So I'm okay. Does anybody want to move on this one? Any further questions?
Motion to approve.
Okay, the woman who folded has just made a motion to approve this application. On Val's motion, Carrie,
Aye.
Abby,
I'll be a nay.
okay, Diane? Diane,
Yes, yes,
that was an aye?
yes.
Okay, thank you. And Val on your motion?
Aye.
Okay, and I'm in favor. So the motion carries 4 in favor, 1 opposed. Thank you. And now let's see, what other new exciting things do we have here? Okay, so this is the, yeah, I got this one.
No, Abby's not on this one.
No, it says that Abby is on this one.
In the computer, which is charging, Abby must have taken a break. I was activated on this 20B,
All right,
And I'm not.
and you're still on it.
No, I'm
Okay.
not.
Oh, you're not?
We're on the house, guys, the main house.
Yeah, you are.
But
You're
I'm on the,
house.
oh, I didn't have anything to say?
No,
I
there was
find that.
nothing really, that nobody had any.
let me make sure I get
I
this
think I
right.
kind of remember.
Okay, so on the 20B applications, of which there are 3, Abby is not on any one of those?
Correct. Yes.
And Carrie is, and you are. All right,
And I am.
all right, good to go. And you are too, yes. All right,
So on the house, the Gambrel, there were very few comments about it.
That's for Linda.
Can we use the microphone?
yeah, those,
All right, on the north elevation, you asked for a window to be added. And while we're here, I am adding retaining walls so that I don't have to add more fill for the garage on this one. Trying to work a little more with this grade.
And this has a different grade than the gable, which is down the hill from this one. So this one's going up the hill more.
Oh, right, that one.
So, and this one's even a little harder to see. And this is also gray, natural. Looks like one that was approved on Nantucket Road, which we gave you a bunch of pictures of everybody else out there. Pretty subdued.
It's the illustration here looks like we might be in the Himalayas.
Yeah.
Yes, actually.
Oh, not when you take off 9 feet of the land.
Are there a whole bunch of these?
Hey, can we hold it right there? Can we stay on this just for a second? Joseph,
Yes, sir.
that's existing, that's proposed grade and the dash line's existing. So what
Correct.
happens over here?
It rolls up the hill naturally,
So
and
goes
that's,
up this way?
yes, because behind the pool is the septic system for this property.
Okay, so no retainage on that side?
No, because we have enough space to work within the envelope.
Okay.
I want to go back to the same type of. I want to go back to that up at the beginning as well, where they can see where the MESA thing is also. You can see where this all is. That's Brackens. Keep going up. There you go. We're pretty darn tight there. Somebody did ask about that thing to the right, Val. I think you asked about that long straight line to the right.
That's to the well.
That's to the well, just so they can get to the well. They allowed us to put the well over there. That's why that's cleared. It
The
looks kind of
area you were
odd.
talking about off the page, Ray, is at the bottom of this page here.
Correct.
Yeah,
The
That's
red
the-
lines,
that's the septic
that's where
field.
it's going back up.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, thanks.
This is Don here. I am gonna have to interject to correct Joe on something. There are retaining walls behind and around the pool. So it's not exactly as the grading is shown there.
Oh, well, we don't see any.
Because you're not
Actually,
sleeping.
Dawn.
Don, I actually got it to work with it.
Yeah, we didn't have to.
Oh, okay, all right. And I'll defer to Joe's latest plan that I wasn't aware of. Thank you.
There's a retaining wall, but it's in the front of the house, Dawn.
Right, yeah, I know that one, but you had asked about in the back to retainage. At one time, we did have retaining walls in the back. So,
That's
but
correct.
if
We're
this
just
is
looking at a
this is
slope
more
right
recent
now.
plan, then that's fine.
Okay,
Yeah, and we're working with the natural grade coming off that
Alright.
hill.
thank you. All right, folks. Who wants to go?
I'll go.
Can we go
Thanks,
back to
Carrie.
I
the
remember
front?
the only problem I had with the building was the window. And then I did want to see retaining walls and I got it. And I don't think, yeah.
So you're good.
Mhm.
Thank you, Carrie. Stephen, you ready?
Yeah, a lot of my questions have been answered. I think that this is a trend in the right direction versus going up or going down. I prefer to see step-built homes so the grade doesn't change, but this is going to get approved and I think it's going in the right direction.
All right, thanks, Stephen. Val? That
The
pause.
horse ran
that
away and
pause.
disconnected from the cart out there already, so this is better
Oh,
than
oh,
most.
oh, oh,
So
okay.
thank you.
All right, okay. Thank you, Val. Diane?
No
Right.
problem.
No problem? Okay. I think we have liftoff.
Motion
No
to
problem.
approve.
Right. Okay, so Val is just in the middle of a motion, I think.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Val has made a motion to approve. On that motion, Carrie?
Aye.
Stephen? Aye. That was an aye?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Diane? Shh. Diane?
Aye.
Thank you, Val.
Aye.
And I'm in favor of motion.
Aye.
carried. Yep, gotcha. Thank you. So that was the house. Garage, yes.
You didn't actually look at the garage the last time because we were so concerned about the grading. It was just held along with the grading and the pool from the last time. So this is really the first time you're looking at this structure.
It's funny because mine has bubbled revisions on it.
I think we did some, yeah.
Yeah, but the original solicitor.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
What?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
It's too big.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of
I
like a,
think especially the west and the west, I mean, having that line come all the way across with the main mass being virtually the same size, it needs to drop down somewhere.
Val, Mr. Chairman, through you, if we did the same, pretty much the same thing we did with the other one and dropped both sides down from the main gable, would that be something that would be
can
acceptable?
tell you something?
Yeah.
Joe's nodding his head no, and I'll tell you why he's nodding
I
his
know
head
why he's
no.
nodding no.
Unlike the other, which was a gable, this is a gambrel, and you can't just like drop it down.
I can reduce this additive massing, make them narrower.
You can
and
make
that would
them
bring-
narrower, and that would get you there.
That would get me there.
But
So-
by what margin are we talking about?
Inch or two? Val, what do you want?
No, do you see
Yeah,
what
no,
my
I know what
Oh,
you're saying.
concern
yeah, no,
is?
hey, Val, I agree with you, and I'm sure
Okay.
other people on this board do.
I don't know what margin,
It just
The other
looks
one
very
came in,
top
we loaded by-
heavy.
yeah.
Yeah,
This
it's all
particular-
the ridge, cross gable, crest gambrel, it's all the same height. pretty much.
And the only elevation on this one, because of where it's located, that you can actually see is the west elevation. You can't really
Well,
get
that's the
a,
one we don't want.
yeah,
to
you
see.
can't get a real good look at the north or the south, certainly not the south and the east.
So,
Well, don't forget, the other part of this is you're going down a proprietor's way, you're going down a shell road, so no one can go down there to see this house. It's only two people can access this driveway. Because the road, if you look at it, Bishop's Rise curves away.
that's so funny. I thought you were working with us a minute ago, and now.
I am
you're not.
working with you, but I'm
benefit.
also saying that no one's gonna be able to go down there.
It'll still benefit the building if you do.
I'm gonna go
something.
down there just to show you that I can.
Go ahead.
Okay, so
But you
Val,
could
hang on, guys. Anything else other than
No,
the
I
height?
just think something needs to look more additive.
Okay, all right, thank you. Diane, where are you on this one?
I think so too. I'd like to know how tall this garage is.
The garage right at the moment is 26 and a half feet tall.
It's too small for me to read here.
Yeah, trust me, it's 26 and a half feet tall,
It's supposed to be 24.
okay?
Ray, what's kind of defining that
Okay,
is,
well,
is the main.
Still has to
is the
be
main
24
house.
feet. I want 2.5 feet.
Okay. Anything else, Diane?
What?
Anything else? Any other
I'd like
comments?
to see it. I'd like to see it reduced. I like the previous submission. Garage studio west better. This is a house. It's not a garage.
Yeah.
It's a secondary dwelling, and it's also gonna be 3 feet below the main house.
Okay, so Diane is looking for a reduction in the height of the building. And of course, it's always difficult when you offer us as the initial one, something that's like 2/3 of the size of what the subsequent one is. So Carrie, how about you?
Yeah, I just think it seems really top heavy, and I think the gambrel could just be reworked to not, the break could be a lot lower on all the gambrels. It would bring it down a couple feet, and then maybe narrow up the side pieces. Yeah, I'm in agreement with everybody.
Okay. Stephen, anything?
Nothing to add.
Okay, so I think you might want to go back and, finesse this one a little bit, but what we're after is pretty consistent. So can I have a motion?
Motion to hold for revision.
All right, Diane's made a motion to hold for some revisions. Thank you, Diane, on that motion. Carrie?
Aye.
Stephen? Aye. Val?
Aye.
Diane, on your motion?
Aye.
There we go, and I'm in favor. Motion carries.
Now we
Yep.
got the pool, as soon as
Gotcha.
you get it, and that's even less visible than anything else up
Should we
there.
go for the pool, kids?
Go for the pool, because then I can
Let's
do
go
the
for
whole
the
site
pool.
where the house is.
Actually, I could just use one of these.
It's sort of on your site plan of the one you just
Yeah.
had. No, it's the same people on the pool.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just gonna look at this. Okay, anything to say on the pool?
No, if you go to the
No.
site plan,
Yep.
yeah, there you go. That's even farther away from the road and even more
Okay.
blocked by
Yep.
the vegetation, which is more
Gotcha.
substantial on this lot.
Enough
actually.
said. Thank you. Comments?
I believe it's gonna be invisible.
Motion to approve is submitted.
Sounds good. Stevens made a motion to approve the pool as submitted. On that motion, Val?
Aye.
Thank you. Carrie?
Aye.
Thank you. Diane?
Aye.
Thank you. Stephen, on your motion?
Aye.
And I'm in favor. Motion carries. Okay, that's the pool.
Thank you very much.
I think you guys are all set for now, right? Thank you.
Can I ask you guys a question, just as board members?
No.
Okay.
What's up? What?
We always put the caveat about in perpetuity, but when in perpetuity doesn't happen, what's the repercussions? Because there are some in perpetuity that aren't
Okay,
in
so
perpetuity.
the answer to that is we are allowed as a board to issue fines. And the fines can be pretty onerous because they can be issued daily. Each day is a new infraction until it's fixed. So there's one pool in particular that I know about that is visible.
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah.
yeah, so,
Okay,
I
that
mean,
was just a question.
basically, I think that the way that works is you file a complaint. The staff goes down and checks it out, make sure that it's valid complaint. And if so, first you write them a letter. Letter comes out from the HCC saying you're not in conformance with your approval. Got to rectify that. And if there's no response, then we can actually move forward and fine. That's the way it
Isn't
works.
every pool with the caveat spoken or not, it's all,
We don't have an
every
administrator, so.
pool.
Well, that's Esmeralda is.
Be invisible in perpetuity, right? Or do we have to say it?
It really should be on, the application. Sometimes we don't do it like in that case.
Right,
Like unless they knock the house down,
right,
you're not going to see it.
right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Mr.
no,
Chair,
that
just on that note, anybody, if you can let staff know those particular projects, and we can go from there and do exactly what the chair said. Yep.
Cool.
Thank you.
Here's for you. Okay, let's see. Matthew, I think you're up. Right?
I am.
Send it to concurrent.com.
Sure.
Yeah.
I have multiple submissions for 88 Buffalo. Do you want me to use the one submitted on the 12th? The stuff that I
Um,
asked about.
Is it the landscape plan? Yeah, maybe look at it. We submitted supplemental material for context.
Matt would like you to use the one we're going to approve.
That would be a good. I'm on this here. Got me, Abby, Diane, Val, and Stephen. Yeah. Yeah, it does say new dwelling.
Yeah, it is. We didn't approve it yet.
If we started with the landscape, that's probably the most relevant. I think that's what the board had requested. So then we can switch to the architecture.
So I'm slightly confused. So I'm looking at an agenda that has for new dwelling, but no landscape.
That's correct. And the reason we have landscape, it's supplemental information, because when you reviewed this, the board, the majority of the questions revolved around landscape. There were actually not a whole lot of comments about the architecture per se. I think the comment was, sorry.
All right. I get where you're going. Got it. Thank you.
Yep. So with your permission, I could just jump right into it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. So as I was saying, you had reviewed the new dwelling previously. And again, a majority of the comments or questions were regarding the grading. And so what I said to the board was that there was a landscape plan being done by Mirka of her landscape design. And so we've submitted that as a supplemental document because I think the grading is so tied to this project. So that's where I thought it would be a good place to start. I think you may want to look at the landscape, the site plan first, just so you can get an understanding about the grading. I'll give you some quick background in terms of where the buildings are located, and then I might turn it over to Mirka just to kind of walk through some of those grades if I could. So this is a great shot to start with. You can see that the main dwelling is on the left side of the page. The proposed guest house, which you have looked at, which we did submit at a later date after the original main dwelling. We do have a pool shown between those two structures. When we do look at the architecture plans, you'll see that we actually had a pool as a placeholder. It's been rotated 90 degrees. But I'd say the most important part of this drawing is to just look at the grading and see the way that it's been manipulated in, I think, a pretty successful way. There's an existing topo change on this property just by nature of its existing condition. As you know, we did get a Concom approval for a grading plan, and the building footprints as shown. It was probably more fill than we needed, but I think that was the idea, that we would obviously dial it back and nobody would be upset about that. So that's what this plan represents. There's a natural topographic change from where the main house is located down to the guest house, and it's almost in a little bit of an L shape. So the structures and their placement were intentionally placed there to follow that, so that there was limited, fill, if you will. It is a steep slope, so you do have to figure out a clever way to terrace it down. I think Mirka did a really brilliant job of working with those grades. One other point is that the guest house is actually first finished floor is, I think, about 2 feet lower than we had presented it last week. So with that, I might have her take over and just kind of walk you through some of the grading. She has also included some site sections, which I know that you had specifically requested. So with that, maybe I can just have Mirka speak.
Good evening. I know this is like a lot to digest, and I've been thrown into this to make something from this side, which is pretty aggressive to the grading, and we are very aware of it. So if just quickly, again, it's not application for the hardscape. I just try to kind of work the grades to make sure we don't need as much walls and try to really terrace this landscape to the most natural looking way. So quick, as we know, just quickly site plan, just quickly sum up, we have a main house at the elevation, I believe, so with the finished grade surrounding between 44 on the ocean side to the 43 on the other side. The highest point of the site is 46. Actually, this cross-section might be just a little bit easier to navigate through the grading. And then we are sloping to the garage where the grading is at 30. So we are dealing with 15 feet of the drop throughout the site. So we started at 44, 43, finished grade around the main house, and then we are working our way down to the garage which is actually working as a retaining itself, and it slides against the grade. And try to meet the existing grade on the lower side. I did put the pool the other direction because I felt I can slide these two structures a little bit closer and really bend the grading in that sense that I can keep it a little bit more compact, to say. Esmeralda, if you don't mind to go to the second page, just to give you the idea how I am cutting the site. One section is practically from the ocean towards the driveway. If you imagine what the grade is doing, where the main front door of the main house is. The second cross section is right through the middle of the pool, looking at the main house. And again, that kind of compares what is happening at that place, existing grade to the proposed grade and the terracing. So again, as I said, it's pretty complex grading. We are just going from A to B, try to meet the existing. And I am here to, once you have the time to review it, if you have some question, ask for them. But I'm just support to Matt for any question.
Thank you, Mirka.
Can somebody let me know, it's Graham Goldsmith, when it would be appropriate for me to make a comment on the next door neighbor?
Hey, Graham, yeah, so let me make sure that the applicants have said what they need to say, and then I would hear you just after them, okay?
Sure.
But thanks for announcing yourself. So Matt, do you have anything further you want to say?
We could go through some of the other material that we had submitted if we could. Some of the contextual information just shows neighborhood context, and then we can just look at finish with the drawings as well. These are some renderings of the structure that we had done. They don't include the architecture, the landscape architecture, but just to give you a sense of the massing schematic. I know that some of the comments early on had to do with the massing of the structure, and we just
have any minutes.
No minutes. We also did a couple aerial renderings just to show how the structure would sit into the grade, into the landscape. Again, these were done with SketchUp, but they're pretty accurate. I think what these demonstrate is that the house, in terms of its scale and size, if you zoom out just a smidge, you can kind of see the two adjacent structures and the scale and size of those. And so in terms of the size of this structure, I feel like it's completely contextual, fits in pretty well. There's another quick rendering there. And then I believe we also submitted photographs of houses in the area with obvious, size and scale comparisons. But I think the bigger picture here is that I feel like the house, while it is, large, but it's completely in keeping with its surroundings. As far as the architecture is concerned, I didn't really get a whole lot of feedback on terms of the building itself. Just a couple comments, if I could, about the building. The ridge height measured from an 8-inch exposed foundation, which we know that the grade's sloping a bit, is 28 feet. It's 28 feet 1 inch at its highest, and that's that main gable ridge. The rest of the house immediately goes down. The next highest ridge is probably just under 27 feet. So we intentionally tried to keep the house low. This is not a 30-foot tall structure. Just not that it matters because we didn't present it, but at one point I did look at putting a cupola and a roof walk. We really tried to keep the house very simple. I don't think there's anything architecturally inappropriate about the structure. I think it in terms of its detail, size, and how it sits in the landscape. Finally, I'll just point out that there is actually a natural berm in front of the structure. So I think from the water, which would probably be its only visibility, it's going to be slightly obstructed. And again, this is on a bluff, so its visibility is going to be from a boat. And again, we did those exterior perspective elevations from the water just to demonstrate that contextually, I think this house will fit in just fine. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thanks, Matthew. Okay, Graham, your turn.
Okay, well, thanks for the opportunity to comment. First of all, I want to wish my neighbor the best in terms of what they can do there. I'm not out to be against what they're doing, but I do have to make some comments. And I find that in my 52 years of designing houses on Nantucket, and over 100 of them, in my day, it was customary to talk to my neighbor first and get some input. I tried to do that. I didn't really get anywhere. I'm glad to see, however, in the most recent plan where they've added a substantial amount of landscaping. Now, I understand this is not up for the landscape review right now, but I do appreciate that because I tried to create a buffer between my property and this property in my planning I've done in the past. And I just, this is as a side, but it's quite interesting to me that, we've had day after day after day of trucking sand up here before there's any permits. I never heard of that happening before, but I guess the Concom was okay with the general positioning. So I just leave that where it is. But to speak generally, I just feel like the house is a little bit more than should be accommodated on this site. You're talking about a pretty fragile bluff. The house with the porches is 120 feet long, not 100 as indicated on the HDC application. There's fill of 10 to 12 feet in places, not 6 feet. And I just worry about when you arrive at this house, you're looking up to, by the time you take the 28 feet of height and you take the grade change from the bottom of the driveway, it's like 42 feet high. It just feels pretty imposing. And I just suggest, and I worry about some of these retaining walls that are right up against my property, in which, these are massive walls. And I just think the whole thing ought to get scaled down a little bit. And, I understand there needs to be fill there. That's obvious. And I'm not opposed to that, but to the extent that this is showing, and those are my concerns. And again, I don't have any animosity toward my neighbor, but I just expect the same. And I was surprised we never had a conversation. I finally talked to Mirka. I don't think she knew that she was going to be the landscape architect, but maybe my comments spurred her on a little bit. And so I'll just leave it there. I mean, I'm adjacent to this, and there was a comment made that the houses are similar. Well, the footprint on my house is 1,800 square feet. It's the porches that make it a little bigger, but it's nowhere near the size of this. And I just worry, is this kind of stem to stern on the ridge of the property here. And I think it could be a very nice project. I just think it needs to get a little bit of, back it down a little bit. So I'll leave it with that. I sent some comments in before, and I feel bad about doing it in the public sector. I kind of wanted to do it more upfront with the architect. I called and I never returned my phone call, and I didn't get anywhere with the owner either. So I'm sorry to confront here, but those are my comments. Thank you for hearing my
Graham.
feedback.
Thank you very much. All right. Anybody else want to speak on this before I turn it over to the board? Okay, so sitting members, myself, Abby, what?
Sorry, I was just asking to look at the rendering.
Abby, Diane, Val, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and Stephen, you're on this because of the McLaughlin. Who were you assuming that? Okay. Who would like to start?
I can do some general stuff.
That would be good. Thank you.
Because I wish the, what are these called? The heights, the contours.
Oh, contour
I wish
line.
they were just in this light orange color. And I had to sort of squeeze down like Mr. Magoo to see what it was at. But I noticed.
We use a microphone.
I know it.
The mic.
So I noticed that the house is built on the highest point of the site, and which is what looks like 45. And so I guess you come up the driveway, it's lower, and then you rise up, and then that's the side of the house. And so, building with Nantucket in mind, that's a no-no. So I'm concerned about that. And as far as the architecture is concerned, when I was reviewing that before, it's really, really long, and it looks like a dormitory or a, you know, a small prep school or something. And I think it needs to be scaled down. And so I'm particularly concerned about the right-hand massing. And
It's 28 feet. 28, the highest point is 28 feet and the remaining portions are 27 and
but
26.
but we're starting at the highest point on the land, and then at that middle structure is on that highest point.
Mr. Chair, just through you, I just want to point out that it's not the highest point. There's actually a berm, and you know, if you buy a property on the water, you're not going to build down. You wouldn't be able to see out the windows to the water. So
Let's let Abby finish, okay?
Yeah, but there's no indication of what those
Contours?
that doesn't say, you know, in front of the house. It says, I think the last one says 44. And then at the house, it says 45. But anyway, you get my point, right? That I think from reading this, it looks like it's on the highest point. And then I think the right side massing is overly extended. You know.
So when you say the right, do you mean as seen from Pocomo Road or as seen from the water?
I think I'm talking about.
In other words, would it be the west elevation or the east elevation? West faces town.
Yeah, west. I would say
That's
west.
seen
The
from the
right-hand
water.
side
So the
seems
right-hand side. Okay.
heavier.
So it would be the south.
And then this is that west. So the west, so if you're lucky enough to have a boat and you look back, the amount of fenestration on that west is just you know, a lot of
Huge.
windows. And I would like to see more variety in the windows, and not so much fenestration. So that's just a starter.
Overview.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Abby. Let's see. Diane, you ready?
Yeah,
Right.
I'm ready.
All
I
right.
would like to know, I didn't hear what Graham said he thought the amount of sand that came, but this is something that's happening to us continually. And for no reason, we are getting no notice that the sand is being delivered. We haven't approved the amount of vegetation or the amount of land that the house is going to be built on. Why are they putting truckloads of sand out here? Maybe they will have to remove it. But it's happened for the last 6 months. This has come in almost a application a night on changing the land and putting up 9 feet of sand in a place where it isn't supposed to be. Otherwise, why are they putting it in? But I think the house is too long. There's no additive massing at all. And he's got plenty of room to do additive massing. You got the west elevation, as Abby brought up, is, with the exception of 1, 2, 3 windows, are all mulled windows. And I don't know what those windows are on the first floor. Those 2/2s, are they windows? Are they doors? Whatever they are, they're too big. The Pocomo head is supposed to be a sympathetic place with dealing with the land and the harbor and all the rest of it. This is unfortunately, to me, not a sympathetic building. It is a building that takes over the whole area. And I believe the east elevation, I don't know why you can't see the east elevation from the hall over, but I guess Matt says you can't. Can I see the east elevation? That's the north. That's not a bad application.
I'm looking at the east right now. That's the so-called front that faces Pocomo Road,
Right.
right?
Yes, the front door is, I feel, is inappropriate for the house that's there. You can hardly tell the difference between the front door and the windows right next to it. And the pooky little thing over the front door is not, if you're going to have a 120-foot long building, you should at least have a front door that looks like that's what it's supposed to be. The south elevation is probably as good as the north elevation. If this house cannot be seen from anywhere except the harbor, then why do we have all these windows and doors that are looking out? Why don't we have single windows and have the house look a little bit more like a Nantucket house? I think that's just an overview opinion at the moment. It's not picking anything apart except the amount of windows and their sizes, basically, and some additive massing that would bring some of the stuff broken, bring it around the corner, and not make it 120 feet long. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Diane. Val Oliver.
We're not ready yet.
Okay, Stephen.
So I think there's a couple things. One, we need to be cognizant of the fact that we're reading the plans correctly. So the existing grade is not 45 feet. At the proposed grade at the finished floor is 45 feet. The existing grade at the apex of the bluff is 43 feet. So there is a dramatic change in grade. And I think it's best illustrated by sheets L.02.1, if we could have that up.
It's funny. I'm gonna say the same thing.
I know.
All right.
I won't take all your thunder.
Take it all, but I'll see how, okay. Go ahead.
And I don't want to take the brunt of it either, but I think it's important that we can distinguish how to read the plans and we're clear on what the information being conveyed is.
May I clarify what page is that?
That's a landscape.
It's a landscape.
Yeah, landscape, so it's L.02.1.
Cross section.
So it's actually Mirka's.
You're actually, this lower.
There you go,
slot-
right
you
there,
go.
that's it.
So for me, right, and just on the topographical, they've got gray lines with gray numerical values, which traditionally are existing, and then the highlighted color, which in this instance is orange, with the orange numerical values is proposed. So for me, this is, I'm going to let Ray say his piece, but I'm going to go back to what Diane said. There's a lot of info going on. I think we need to stop calling a spade a bloody shovel, and we need to call it what it is. And the way we do that is we don't whine about it. I'm not suggesting anyone is, but we vote the way it should be voted, consistent with our guidelines. With respect to this, I think that it's a dramatic change when coupled with not necessarily the height of the home, but somewhat the height of the home. But in addition, the overall width and that rightmost massing, Matt, is I think it's too high. It almost seems imposing when you look at the totality of the changes. I think on the architecture itself, there's more than with respect to the particular architectural elements, there is more than precedent in that area to have this level of fenestration. I think from the ocean side, the first floor, much of it will not be visible unless at a distance. But that will all hinge on how much fill is actually allowed to be used. I'm going to take on face value that there are things going on the site. I'm not going to suppose that it has to do with this fill, but obviously if this level of fill isn't approved, then changes would have to be made on the site if they've got excess fill. Those are my comments for now. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Stephen. How about now, Val?
What did I have? With regard to the house, I think the basic design is okay. What's missing is the additive massing, and while the roof levels go up and down, the eave line is straight across. So there really isn't any additive massing per se. Like, you know, to start low and then kind of build up to the midsection of the house. The cross section that Stephen was talking about, L.02.1, it looks as though in between the house and the proposed barn, guest house, is getting framed with retaining so that it's flat in between, when in reality, it's sort of a bowl. I'm wondering if there is a better way to handle that so that everything isn't level in the middle. Like, does that have to happen? Does it have to get built up like that? Can't the two buildings relate and not walk out on the same level to the pool per se? It's just.
If I could, Mr. Chair, just to answer your point, Val, so I think part of the landscape plan, you'll see that the guest house or the garage structure is actually lower. So it's lower by about 2 feet.
The pool is like
At that higher height, yeah.
It should go down.
Yeah.
And the only other question I have is that on the elevations, it looks like you just step out to a deck and step onto grade. And I'm wondering if that's really the case. I can't tell because I don't know what that number is. Do you see what I'm saying?
No.
Like from where the first floor is to grade, what is that distance?
To the proposed grade, or?
No, go to the elevations. One of
When you say grade, do you mean the deck or do you mean the grade?
well, like,
Yeah, you step off the deck onto the grade, Val, except for in the front, then there's some steps down to the pool.
but that's in front of, that's like retained, right?
Yes.
So
That's
in other
after.
words, the grade is only 2 steps into the house.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
The filled grade.
Right. Okay. I'm just trying to digest it. It's a lot, especially with the landscaping, and thank you for giving us that. It seems like such a huge manipulation of the site.
It's definitely tricky.
That's all I have.
So, yeah, what I was going to say on these landscape things, if we go back to L021, that one you had up a little earlier. There, okay, yeah, okay, so I did some measurement. Problem with Zoom is we can't apply a scale to any of this, but this point right here, right there, the fill is 9 feet, which is a little bit less than the height of this ceiling. This is probably a 10-foot ceiling, so, almost to this ceiling. Down here at the pool, like on the low side, not the pool side, I'll get to that in a second, this is 7 feet, that's here. If we look at the lateral one, this one right here, this is where the pool is, which is, to Val's point, is up at the level of this annex of the house. This right here, that's 11 feet, which is, if I was standing out there, that would be the height of the ceiling above my head there. That's how much fill is going there. So just imagine like this room, twice that much, all filled with dirt. That's the amount of fill we're talking about. So the fill is definitely a consideration. The other things for me are the width of the building and the amount of glass facing west. And unfortunately, the reason that I'm focused on that is because of the precedent that we all are very well aware of to the north of this, the famous, infamous Gamble House, that you can see very clearly at the end of Pocono Point from town and everywhere else. So those are my comments.
Can I add?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just realized maybe I'm speaking loudly enough to be on the mic. Matt, I think we've given you some very general comments, obviously of concern. For me, I think looking at this, the main house would need to drop approximately 3 feet. And then I think some of the other problems go away a little bit. I think split level between the pool and the garage space are important. That's going to help to decrease the fill. And I would suggest, obviously, additive massing changes and addressing fenestration. Is that okay?
Yeah. Can I just follow up with a couple of quick points?
Quick, yeah.
I think this section's very telling. So if you look at the right side of the upper cross section, you'll see where the existing grade is, and there's actually a berm in front of it. So that essentially establishes the first floor for us. So that's the challenge. So if we drop that by 3 feet, it's a real problem, obviously. We don't want to be downhill from that slope. Not that you're concerned about, views, but it's a little counterintuitive to do that. I think we could drop the grade, the amount of fill between the two structures. It's a challenging site. It's got a pretty big slope towards towards the water side and the bluff. So we're navigating that. I think we can reduce the amount of fill. I would also say that if we could go to the renderings real quick, because I want to get a clear understanding about what you're talking about with additive massing.
So if you look at
Like that shot. Well, first I also, yeah.
That's on an angle, so it doesn't show it as well. Do this right on.
Well, we don't see things in,
Well, I see this.
Yeah.
well,
Slide 3.
does that, I guess my point is that you've clearly got ridge height drops and it's not as if this thing is like some block or box, if you will. And I guess that's my point.
Well, you would agree that it's pretty long.
It's certainly long. That's, the question is more just clarification in terms of the additive massing. I think if you go back one image, if you could.
Matt, my comment, if I made through you, Mr. Chair, is that right side mass as you're facing the front is very tall relative to
The grade.
to not necessarily grade due to fill, but also with respect to the overall mass. So creating more of a sense of additive massing on that wing, I think would be helpful. That's what I was referring to.
And that's what I was hoping.
A couple of times in different members' comments.
And I consider additive massing to have a little bit of differential in eave.
In Eve.
Not just roof.
Okay. But I guess that's my question. So when you talk about additive massing, which, we deal with that all the time, is it more like one-story additions, or like the eave, for example, Val, it's like you've got two gable forwards and then you've got, two sections of eave with flush shed dormers. So are you suggesting that the eaves should either drop in some areas, or that's my question, or is it more about one story additive?
Maybe we're putting too much emphasis on the phrase additive massing. I think that if my reading of what the board members almost have said unanimously is that if we look at the east or the west elevation, the long elevations, they're pretty unrelenting. You do have a little porch on one side and a little porch on the other side, but from, more or less, it's kind of an unrelenting long mass, in much the same way that the Gamble House is. So maybe that.
Has all those windows on the, Ray, all
On the
those
west.
windows on the second floor are at the same height, yeah,
Right.
are all the same height, so you see that is whatever, the roofs go up and down, but those windows stretch the whole length of the building. Additive massing, if you go back to the thing, means a few one-story additive pieces that drop the building down or telescope it in the back or whatever. And I think the windows are the dead giveaway in this, is that they're all exactly even all the way from one end to the other, both floors.
Okay. Well, I think I've got some good
That's
feedback.
what
Thank you.
strikes
I mean,
me
I would
as
keep all the windows at the same header height.
being not much.
Anything else would be awkward, but I appreciate your comments.
Okay. Diane, I think we're going to move for, and you can even be the one that does this, move for some revisions. That would be a helpful motion.
I'll make a motion to hold for revision.
That sounds great, Diane. Thanks a lot. So on Diane's motion, let's see, Stephen? Aye. Val?
Aye.
Thank you. Abby?
Aye.
Diane, on your motion?
Aye.
And I'm in favor. Motion carries. Thank you, Matthew, where we are. Thank you, Mirka.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
20 Bartlett Atlanta landscape requested to take it forward to
Okay, so can I just have a motion on that, folks? Those of you sitting on it, that is.
Which one is it?
Bartlett Road, what is this? Oh, those, I know these. Yeah, they're good.
Motion to hold
20 Bartlett Farm.
20 Bartlett Farm for Thursday.
The funny thing is, you're not on it.
Oh, I
Sorry.
can't make that motion.
I'd rather that you didn't.
I'll make that
Okay,
motion.
Abby has made the motion to hold.
I'll make
20
the motion.
Oh, we just got Abby, but Diane on the motion. Just say aye. Diane?
Aye.
Thank you. Carrie?
Aye, wait.
Aye.
Yes. We're just holding an application.
Aye.
Yeah, we got you, Stephen.
Aye.
Yeah, thank you. And Abby on your motion?
Aye.
And I'm in favor. Okay, so that's held at that one, 20 Bartlett. Next one is me and Lisa Botticelli will represent that, and I'll take a little breaky break. Abby, you're chairing.
What number are we on?
Oh,
32 Jefferson?
no, it's interesting.
What?
It's a four-person board with no alternates, but that's the way it is.
What, doesn't Steve become McLaughlin?
Oh, I'm already on it.
Oh. So do we have Steve?
It's
Gary?
Yep, I'm here.
And Diane.
So we've made some further revisions to this. I think there's two, hold on, let me just get to the right applications. We've actually did changes to the second floor dormers and the, sorry, I'm just getting to the right copy. I have so many copies of this. We made the third floor dormers gable dormers, and then there's an option with the double dormers, with the double windows versus a single window. And we provided renderings showing the visibility or the lack of visibility because of the trees that are in the front lawn between the single and the double windows up there. That's the existing condition, and then there should be two other renderings that show the dormers, single and double. I think the other changes were we revised the front door. Let's see, we revised chimney details. Those are just site pictures of the existing conditions. Yeah, the renderings are a little, sorry, they were sent in 3 different emails. I apologize.
Holly, do you have, sorry, Lisa, are you,
Yeah, I mean, those were the major revisions were changing the shed dormers to gable dormers on the front. And again, we provided renderings to show that we still like the width of the double windows, and we think that given the vegetation, the visibility of them is between a single and double window. Again, also when the trees are in bloom, will be very limited. And HSAP did review this. Holly has some comments.
Yep.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So for everybody's recollection, this is a 1980s structure, and actually there's an HDC survey on file. It was actually at the time labeled 12 Jefferson Ave, some history and changes of numericals on the road. HSAP took a look at the revisions on April 25th. They said that the single window dormers are preferred over the double windows and would be improved if they were a little narrower. The double third floor north window should change back to a single. And from staff's perspective, prefer the existing chimney over the proposed. I know that's not part of, I mean, that's part of your revisions, but it is a little atypical, especially on the main facade. The new chimney on the exterior it seems to be also atypical. I'm not sure of the visibility from both Jefferson or Lincoln, but those are the comments, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thanks, Holly.
So as I pointed out to 8 you know, making those dormers narrower just isn't, and that's the master bedroom. And if you look at the plan, it's already very, very tight in terms of the width of that dormer to the foot of the bed. You can see the 6-foot line on the 3rd floor plan pretty clearly. So I think making that narrower just as the dormer narrower is a non-starter. And
Can we get the elevations up?
yep, they're up.
Yeah,
See them,
thank
Diane?
you.
Can you see him,
Yep,
Diane?
now I see them.
So
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think the addition of
Before
the
they would-
gables on the dormers just make it a little bit more traditional. The windows have gone smaller from the beginning. There's been a progression of making those dormers a bit smaller. And I think we've taken care of all the other revisions that have come up.
Okay. Anybody ready to dive in?
I'll go.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen.
Can we focus on sheets A2.1B, which I think is the 3rd? There you go. The proposed east elevation, I think that this is the most appropriate treatment with the gables. It's consistent with the farmer's porch approach. It's consistent. It just reads to me as kind of like a formal, informal, and I think the sheet above it with the single windows, those gable dormers just make everything look out of proportion. I will note that while I think these dormers may appear large, I think they're proportionate to the structure, for sure. And the question I have through you, Madam Chair, is Lisa, on the chimney, is that a decorative? The width is a decorative feature, or is that as a function of? I didn't pour through floor plans. I don't think I saw any in here. Is that because there's dual? Oh yeah, okay.
Let me look. I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that.
I didn't see it.
No, that one, no, they're both single.
So I think if maybe that was thinned up a little bit, left to right, it would be a more traditional. I'm not saying dramatically, but I think a little bit.
Just make the chimneys a little narrower.
Yeah.
Both of them.
And I think if you can echo what was there, it's not a bad thing. And the Photoshop work is excellent, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
If we were approving based on those, I would have made a motion to approve. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thanks, Stephen. Karen?
I agree with Stephen. I think filling the dormers is better than having sort of wall to the dormer, because that makes it feel heavier, and these actually feel lighter with the double windows. And I also agree with the chimneys, skinny them up, but that's it. I do like the gable dormers better than I like the sheds. I don't know why, but I do. That's it.
Okay, great. Diane?
Yeah, my only thing is, and I don't know whether it's been mentioned before, is the shed dormer on the 2nd floor on the right-hand side. What would you think of making it a single window instead of the double window? When you look at that building right now, you have the two gable dormers up on the roof, which makes you look at it. And then that shed dormer on the right sort of hangs out. I think it might be easier to look at if it was a single window instead of a double window. It would not make that top of that addition so heavy. That's all. I'm sure people don't agree with me. I just thought I would mention it because To me, that's how it looks.
Thanks,
Okay.
Diane. Lisa, what is the material of the chimney? Is it painted white? Is it
It's
painted
brick.
white?
Let me just double check to see. I don't think it's painted, but let me just double check the original application. Let's see. Red cedar. Brick. It's brick.
It's
Oh,
brick.
here it is. Waterstruck brick.
So it's a brick color too?
Yeah, brick color. We can certainly narrow them up.
Yeah.
And I think we have made, just to Diane's point, we have made the windows on the right side, the dormer smaller. Not this last time, but since we first submitted.
I kind of agree with my board members that the single in the doghouse dormers, those look like they're swimming up there, and the double ones sort of just make it sit better, but I didn't think I'd ever say that. And I do like them better than the sheds. Sounds pretty positive.
I'll make a motion.
Could you do that, Stephen?
So I think we were largely in agreement. Diane, I did register on the windows. I think they're large from the Photoshop. That's not going to be a focal point. So my motion will be to approve through staff with the chimneys thinned up by approximately a foot left to right as faced from the east elevation.
Okay.
Thank you, Stephen. On Stephen's motion, Carrie.
Aye.
Diane.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. And Stephen, on your motion?
Aye.
Aye, terrific. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Thank you, Abby.
Thanks.
Okay. Oh, Elizabeth, you're up. 31 Fairgrounds. Now, it says commissioners to be added. Somebody has to help me with that.
I thought we went through this last time when you weren't here. Is there nobody? I'm sure people did, because we talked about the carport and where you'd see the solar panels.
Is this that application? Okay, because I was on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the solar.
And Stephen, I think, is pulling up the minutes.
It's not in here, but it was me, you, John, Abby,
And I was on it.
Yeah, not
and Diane.
I sent those pictures and you said they were not.
That's right.
And
Hey, was
John-
that in
John was
Woodbury
on
Lane?
it.
And John.
No, it's on Lily Street.
Any alternates? I want to go check. I don't remember. Well, I was at the time.
We were all there.
The thing.
Yeah,
there's
so
like
you guys-
little Things that look like screw holes.
Jess,
And
were you,
that's-
do you recall being there? No. So Carrie was an alternate.
Yes.
Okay, let's see, Stephen.
Oh, yeah. Are there any new photos in this?
This was Lisa's
Okay, I'm good.
application.
It was just the
Maybe I
section which is on the bottom of the
32.
page. That's up.
Jefferson. Yeah.
Elizabeth, did you get my photograph?
No, I did not.
Oh, you didn't? Oh.
Oh.
I saw that. It's going to you.
The concept was fabulous. You know, basically it was like little thin lattice ladders
Right.
at the corners. Yeah, you know, that just
Okay.
like encompassed.
Well,
the-
we illustrated it with wooden boards on either side, and we put the post up as you had requested. So that kind of thing softens it. I think the idea,
Right.
it seemed like you were all in favor. You just wanted a little softening of the posts. So I think that did that.
Sorry, have we established who the board is? You, me, Carrie?
And Carrie was the alternate. She wasn't activated.
Abby was definitely on it. Were you on it?
I was on it.
And John, and
John
So
was
I
on
said
it.
as an
1,
alternate,
2,
and then
3,
Carrie would be
4.
activated.
And Diane, you were on it,
Me.
right?
yes.
I was on it.
Okay, so we got our 5. We got our 5. All right, so, you just gave your presentation, right?
I did. I think you can make this really quick.
Not if I'm in charge. Okay, who wants to start?
Well, I was concerned about the pictures because I really thought I wanted Elizabeth to see the
Yeah,
idea.
basically it was like single lattice that enclosed a column on at least 2 sides, maybe 4.
Yeah, as many as you wanted.
Yeah.
And you just screw them into the.
I mean, I guess you could add a couple lattices to the ends if we go with the wooden boards.
Uh-huh.
You know, you could say at either end you want to see some little lattice. I think putting each is going to be kind of difficult.
Okay.
Sorry, could I just?
Yeah, go.
So you're saying that on these sort of I-beam things, you're putting wood in there?
Right.
Okay. And so do you see the metalwork at all?
Well, if you look up.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But not.
Where are the drawings we had?
But the infill is only on the end pieces, not every single one. Is that what you're saying?
It can be on every single one.
It can be.
Yeah, but
Can I
we
get
wouldn't do, if you wanted a lattice on top of that, I don't think you'd want to do those on every single one.
No, because that doesn't make
Just,
sense. if there's
so
no
maybe
garden.
the wooden piece on each post, but then the lattice on the end pieces.
Yeah. Okay, I don't want it to get too fragmented because I know everybody wants to
I
speak.
just was asking about the photographs, but
Can I get a clarification?
All right, so I'll come back to you if need be. Go.
So through you, Mr. Chair, Elizabeth, it appears from the illustrations as well as the drawing, these are actually wraps. These are actually cedar wraps on the metal post as opposed to infill to the I-beams.
Well, it could be either.
But the way you've illustrated it, you're basically wrapping these, so you will see natural to weather wood.
Right,
And on the top of it, it's a galvanized steel, which is also gray.
right.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. And then Carrie made a comment that just while I have the floor, I'll infill. The concept of the lattice, these panels on the ends, I think are really appropriate where you have the garden
Right.
bordering it, but having it in between where you have people walking through and less garden space, I think you have a sidewalk is less appropriate. So I just would make that comment. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Diane, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'd like
Okay.
to see the drawings of them that we had the last
Oh,
meeting. They don't
Well,
have
it's
them
funny
up here.
because we see
When
them.
we said about wrapping the,
So Diane.
maybe I should just quit.
They're on the left here.
Aren't they on the screen? They're on the screen.
She
here.
can't see me point. You guys can, but I can't.
Diane, they're on the left-hand side of the screen.
you kick it
There,
Yeah, actually, blowing it up is good because then you can start to see that it's actually, the columns are cased in wood. See that now, Diane?
Yeah, I know that I see them. I just thought we had a better
Could you
view
go down
of
to
them
the
last time.
images of it, lower down in the third and to the right. That's okay. And take it up a couple of clicks like Jesse's.
Continue, Diane, go ahead. Diane?
No, I think we thought that they would fit in all right when we did the cedar wrapping around the poles.
Yep.
And that they would look good and we wouldn't have panels behind the buildings. That's what I believe.
Okay,
I would go along with what we come up with.
all right. Thank you, Diane. Let's see. Carrie, did we get you?
Yeah, I think they're great wrapped in cedar, and these are what they are. It's sort of the perfect installation of solar panels in a housing development like this. It's sort of like, that makes it, that, for me, that makes it appropriate, that this is all trying to be a sustainable development. We are trying to make it, more appropriate using the wood, and I think this is a successful project.
Are these just for cars or are they for property too?
It's for the buildings.
So
The cars are gonna park under.
I don't know if they're ready for charging cars and so.
Oh, good question. One would hope that some of it was devoted to that, yeah. So I believe everyone who's sitting on this has spoken. I think that the idea that was put forward about, okay, so all of the columns would be wrapped, but then the ones at the very ends could have some sort of a little lattice so that you could train stuff up at the ends just to sort of bracket the whole assembly with some vegetation. I'd be in favor of that.
So moved.
Yes.
Billy Cassidy has his name.
Oh, Billy, come on, man, we were doing so well.
Billy, you're gonna get an approval.
Pardon, Mr.
Say
Chair,
thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for the kind words.
Oh.
That's all.
Okay, good.
So thank you.
Like that. Thanks. Thank you, Billy. Thank you for your kind words. And let's see the motion.
Motion to approve through staff with the addition of the lattice panel wraps on the end posts
Of each section. Yeah. Okay, that's Stephen's motion. On the motion, Carrie,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
thank you. Diane,
Aye.
thank you. Stephen on your motion.
Aye.
And I'm in favor. Motion carries. All right.
Now,
Okay.
can I just ask, I have like 2 more applications in the next one. Would you consider bringing them up forward?
What did you just say?
Like in the next group, I have 2 other applications. Would you consider?
So we can get
Okay.
her,
There's a lot of people that use it.
Yes, yes, I did.
There's no other people here.
Yeah,
Do-
but there's a lot online.
Yeah, no, because
Okay, I
we
will.
have Steve Thoreau on, Brooks
Don't
been
come
in
back.
the audience.
Okay. Zoom in. Okay, later.
Sorry.
Later.
Hey, listen. Why don't you zoom in?
Go home, put your feet up.
Yeah, put your feet up, zoom in, have a glass of wine.
New puppy.
Because by the time we get down to that, well, it's 7:45, so if we get down to it, it's gonna be a bit later.
I'm going to give someone a chance to sit.
Okay, Jesse,
oh my God, it's only been 2 3/4 hours.
I think we should be zooming in. I think I might start zooming in on ones that I'm not, on. There's like that many new ones. I might switch with Steve.
hey. Okay, so, is Tori on?
I am.
Oh, you are, you're there, okay. All right, so Stephen just left the auditorium, so Jesse's gonna be on your application, okay?
Okay, we might have a predisposed board, Ray. I don't know if that matters.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, it does matter. It's under new business, but
No, they did.
Oh, it is?
On
I think because they were looking for just a couple more details, and so we requested and they honored being heard tonight with those details. It was basically all about the dimensions of the window and getting a straight on shot of it.
I actually have Diane, Abby, Stephen, and I don't know who else was. Maybe Terry could confirm.
so Diane and Abby.
And Stephen.
Is Abby chairing?
What
Yes, I
day
believe
was it
so.
heard?
It was May
Last
12th.
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah.
May 12th.
And I'm happy to wait for Stephen to come back if you'd like to go
Here
to the
he
next
is.
one. I can
He's
come
back.
Okay.
All right.
Itching or
burning.
It's new but old. Look at that.
Yeah.
On the 12th, you didn't hear it.
Oh, we didn't open it?
Not on the 12th.
I have the minutes in front of me, Terry. It says the 12th.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, wait a minute. No,
Or-
that's 10th. Sorry. Sorry,
I thought
sorry.
we talked about
Okay.
horizontal windows.
In the windows, yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was talked about.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Nope, I don't have those handy, so sorry. That was the 10th. I don't have the 12th handy.
These are really good.
Why is there an echo?
Yeah.
Ooh, thank you.
Organic dark chocolate, it's good for you.
Yeah, it's good for
Those
you.
are really good.
It was, if I may, it was only a 3-person board, Camp, Coombs and Welch.
Did you say 3-person?
Yeah, that
On
was
the 12th?
day-
Yes,
right, that was
May
the day
12th,
after.
yes, that was last Thursday.
Well, they're here.
We were whipping through stuff.
So, John, Tori, you're going with the 3-person board. You good with
I
that?
believe we'll be okay. Yes, absolutely.
Right then. Abby, it's to you.
Oh, right, so what did you do, Tori?
Okay, so your motion was to hold for a window schedule. I apologize, I didn't make it into the office today, but I have measured the window and the panes individually, submitted the photo that we just had on the screen a minute ago. And the label of the window has the dimensions that I can talk through with you. We also looked for a straight on shot, which I took. There it is. It's the exact same 6/6 windows all over this secondary structure that we're looking to repurpose. The dimensions are 29.5 by 40.5 high, and each individual square is actually a square 8.5 by 8.5. So it is a square, so that's why we were thinking they felt more horizontal. I did not get a photo of the main house, but I did pull the historic survey for the main house.
Yeah.
And I could read the details off of that if you like. It's a 1949 per Sanborn map dwelling. It is contributing, the main house is, and they're 6/6. And I can defer to you on any other information you want. I know that you felt the sidewall in the drawings was a little off per the drafting. And if we could correct that for your staff, that would be amazing. And then here I am.
Well,
I think
Tori,
that's
that,
it.
right, so the windows that we're looking at are horizontal, but you're saying they're 8.5 by 8.5 squares?
Yes, and so this is what I presented last Thursday, what you're looking at right now. And oh, and just a side note, I got the east and the west wrong. I apologize. And we determined that on Thursday. But it's the exact same window everywhere on the house. And my photos, because of the tight limitations of the site, were all on an angle. So you asked me to take a head-on shot, which we were just looking at.
Okay.
Madam
And
Chair.
it's the exact same window throughout the entire structure.
Okay, thanks, Tori. Holly?
I just wanted to reiterate, the HSAB did take a look at this. They, on May 9th, they had no concerns. However, the east and west were reversed. So obviously, anything through staff, that would be great to change the cardinal points. I did also wanted to know the age of the structure because the main dwelling on the lot was a 1840s cottage. It sounded like, Tori, you did find the HDC survey?
Only for the main house, yeah, not
Okay,
the
yeah.
not for this structure.
Okay, that was just my concern on the age of it. But I also did want to point out that this whole debacle in the beginning of this review tonight is the reason why we have our processes in place. And the only time we want to go against the grain is when the chair allows us to help historic tax credit applications instead of not going. What's that? Well, no, just the fact that there was no minutes, we didn't know who the board was, blah, blah, blah. There's a reason why we have policies and procedures in place, and I just want to notate for the record, but no further comment on the application.
No,
Madam Chair.
and
Thank you.
and I fully apologize that I did not get that to the board today. I mean, to the administration today.
Okay, Stephen, what do you think?
Okay, so I think, Tori, I'm not chiding you, but I am going to try and prevent bad behavior from recurring. When you turn these in, you are professional and we want you to get in accurately post-shade and scaled drawings. Nothing personal, but your CAD layers need to be updated and the windows need to be appropriately scaled because these are not shown as square if you scale them. They are horizontal, and we could save time for both you, ourselves, and more importantly, other applicants. So please take that in the spirit intended. I don't have a problem with the clarifications. I do have a concern that the drawings be updated accurately, and I don't know that we can do that without an Exhibit A calling out the window sizes, and
I
I
can
guess
do that.
we could do it that way.
We can do that.
If I could, Stephen, I did submit the window size with this photo.
You said they were 8.5 by 8.5 sash?
That's, no. 8.5 by 8.5 mutton. That's the window pane.
Center to center on the mutton?
Yep, center to center on the mutton. And then it's 29.5 wide and 40.5 high, which I submitted with the photo. I just had an emergency today and I couldn't get into the office. I apologize.
No, I get it. And I'm sorry, what was the height? 40?
40.5. And every single window on this building is the exact same. And we're looking to repurpose the same window in
And
the
that's-
addition.
That's the sash or with trim?
That is not with trim. That's interior inset of window inside the sash.
And the cardinal points.
Cardinal.
And the
point.
cardinal points. And I can adjust the drafting on the shingle pattern, no problem.
Okay. So that'll be Exhibit A labeled May 17th, 2022.
Okay, so on Stephen's motion, Diane,
What are
your
we
staff.
discussing now?
We're discussing Tori's, do you see that, so we're okaying this project through staff with the pane size that is not on this, it should be corrected per
Right.
Exhibit A and the
Because
cardinal
it's
points,
not-
east and west.
It's not the pane size that we usually are.
Right, yeah. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I guess you don't want to have to replace all the windows in the whole building, but they're really not what I would ever choose. But there they are, so I guess we're stuck with them.
Yeah.
So,
Is that a yes?
yeah, that's a yes.
Okay, thanks, Diane. Stephen, on your motion?
Shorter, yes.
And mine is very quick, yes.
Don't criticize me.
I'm joking, Diane.
Okay, we're
You
good.
can take it.
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your help.
Okay,
Thanks, Tori.
thanks. Do we have somebody to rep 70 Orange Street?
Yes.
Oh, that's Abby, Stephen, and Diane. Yep. I'm sorry,
I'm gonna sit off a few so
Um,
Jesse can have turn.
he would love
So
that.
you-
Thank you,
I'll
Val.
sit off.
So you're going to want to keep this on the
Okay,
top of the file for when it
I'm
goes.
sorry, 70 Orange, do we have somebody?
Yes.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
thanks. You're Peter?
Yes, I'm Peter Fernandez. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so let's see, Peter, your board, people are walking out en masse. We still have Jesse, Diane, Stephen, Carrie, and myself. That's the board right now. Okay, so what can we do for you?
So I'm trying to get approval for this outside shower, and so she wants to do a cedar shingle shower,
Yes,
which I talked to the homeowner, and her designer designed it. And we're trying to just have the woven corners, just the cottage corners.
yes,
And it's gonna be on the top. It's gonna be a 5/4 by 6 cedar going around the top as a band, just to stop the water and protect the whole wall because it's gonna be exterior. And also, I'm gonna use pressure treated sheathing, and inside the interior is gonna be 1 by 6 TG, tongue and groove. Also the door, we're gonna make it of cedar going horizontal. I think 27 inches wide.
Okay. Is it, I think maybe the reason that this didn't go on consent is the 12 inches that I'm looking at on your drawing, is that the elevation to the bottom of the shower floor, or where's the shower floor?
The shower floor is the existing floor. So that is,
So that's the grade?
yes, yes,
Okay, so the 12 inches is just an airspace.
correct.
Okay, and then let's see, the overall height is 6.5 feet high,
Yes,
right?
right,
And grade up to the top.
up to the top, yes,
Right. Oh, and then you have the shower head listed at a little bit higher. That's fine.
correct, yeah.
And then half of that side that we're looking at, half is the door, which is the horizontal boards, and the other half is shingle. And the two sides are also shingle.
Yes.
Okay. I think I get it. Do we have HSAB on this? Yep.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we do.
Okay,
So the house that this is associated with is a circa 1870, 1.5 story, 4-bay ridge chimney colonial revival in the Old Historic District. HSAB took a look at this on May 2nd. They said that the shower wall should be vertical board, not shingles.
Okay.
And from staff's perspective, I agree with HSAB. And I also agree that the plans were a little kind of, hard to discern
Yeah.
at first. So
Yeah.
that's it.
Okay. Is there a particular reason you wanted to shingle it rather than using vertical board?
Yes. So that's, I think the homeowner wanted to have a more Nantucket look instead of just the common boards going vertical. And
Yeah.
so she wanted, from day one, she wanted it to be continual, connected to the house, and also just looking the same as the house, So
Okay.
that was
All
the
right.
reason, to just keep it mellow and not just sticking out too much,
All right. Thank you. Just
welcome.
curious as to the rationale. Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Who wants to start?
I'll go.
All right, Carrie, go.
I think the shingle is a little modern in this case, in my mind. And
Okay.
I think the vertical board is kind of better. But that same note, there is a hedge between Orange Street and this
Oh,
house. So I don't think it's going to be visible. Stephen and I are looking at the site plan on Google. And as long as the hedge stays, it seems like it won't be seen.
interesting point. Next time you come before us, it would be to your benefit to take pictures taken from Orange Street looking back. And then
Sure.
we'd see that hedge. I don't think they're in the package, right?
No.
Okay. So Carrie, thank you. Stephen,
I concur.
concur in that it's
I
going to be
think
of little
shingle
visibility.
is actually a little more modern, though I think it is subdued, and because it will blend into the background. But none of it really is relevant as so long as the privet stays in place. So I would be in favor of an approval subject to screening at the time of inspection and thereafter.
Very good. Okay, thank you. Jesse?
Yeah, I mean, I prefer the vertical board. I feel like that the shingles make it look like it's part of the house, and you know, it's the house. So try to keep that, looking the same. But if you can't see it, you can't see it.
You were chairing that, I think. Okay, Jesse, thank you. Diane?
I think it should be vertical boards the way they always are. I don't think you have to put shingles to make it look richer, more affluent, but just a plain, typical shower boards.
Typical, say that again, Diane?
The typical enclosure for a shower.
Yes. Oh, the vertical board, you mean?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Did I miss anyone? No, I got everybody. So except me. Yeah, the shingles, as you can gather, Peter, are not a normal treatment, but I think given the fact that it's behind a hedge and at the back of the house, I'm okay with it. So can we have a motion of some kind?
I see it. I see Carrie coming up with one.
Well, now I'm just second guessing the white trim on top, because that
Oh,
then calls it out.
Can you
as
do
something
us a little favor, Peter?
Yes. What is it?
Okay, around the top you've got a white board. Can that be a natural to weather red cedar?
Yeah, that's not gonna be white. That is gonna be natural to.
That is what you meant, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that
yeah.
is what I meant.
All right.
5/4. Yeah, 5/4 by 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
Let's do that through staff. Well, no, if that's the intention, then.
That's what he.
Yeah, then motion to approve as is.
Okay. The motion is to approve as submitted. On the motion, Stephen.
Right. Oh, right, with the caveat of the hedge stays
Oh,
in place and.
the hedge will need to stay.
Yes, it stays. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be part of our approval. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So on that motion, Stephen.
Aye.
Thank you, Jesse. Aye. Thank you, Diane.
No.
Okay. Carry on your motion.
Aye.
And I'm in favor. Okay. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you very much.
All right. Steve Thoreau, you're in a queue for 6 Sandy Drive.
Yes, I am, sir.
Okay. Hi there.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Oh, it's a totally different thing.
Pop it right off. It'll feel good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Then where does it go?
We just put it in a pile. Guys. This is a This is something. This is a different.
I'm going to Boston tomorrow.
So I just
the
applicant might have submitted
tomorrow night. Just so you know. Big Boston office. 50 people.
I'm trying to make it
I'm
easier
going
for staff
later
because they're going to be looking
at
for
the end
this
of the day.
application. They're going to be like, what the hell is this?
Very good point.
Okay.
It's going to be like, no, that's the solar.
You're gonna need a drink. Okay, I'll give you. I'll ring you. Okay, I'm staying in the North End.
I didn't run on that. I run on fair and even.
Okay. Stephen, sorry. So 6 Sandy Drive. Move. Oh, I should establish. Oh, we got our regular board back, right?
I'm sitting off of those.
Oh, you're sitting off. Okay, so Jesse. Oh, you are too. So Carrie.
Okay.
Oh my God, you guys are you're gonna confuse the hell out of me. You are.
I have a conflict, so that's fine.
Okay, so Jesse and Carrie. Oh, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, do we not have 5 board members sitting on this project?
What,
we do.
we have 5. Okay,
Okay, thank
I know
you.
it's confusing, Stephen, but you have Jesse.
Okay, all right.
Here you go. Jesse, Diane, Abby, me, Carrie.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Yep.
That's your board.
Thank you.
All right, so we're a move off.
This is a demo or move off. And Holly, could you read the HSAB's comments, please?
Stephen, did you want to present or just
Actually,
go
I just
straight
asked
to
if Holly
HSAB?
could read the HSAB comments first before I present.
Mr. Chair, through you, then I'll review all comments, both staff and HSAB. So this is based on the HTC survey that was done back in the 80s. It's a 1950s structure. Now it is contributing towards the historic district and the National Historic Landmark as a little cape. HSAB took a look at this on May 2nd. They said that given the history of similar moves and demos in the area, they had no concerns. However, appropriate documentation of the existing structure should be submitted. And from staff's perspective, I would agree there are photos included in the application. However, it would be nice to have a better record, especially the fact that these are mid-century structures that we're seeing more and more being relocated or demolished. And obviously, I know that from a sustainability perspective, it'd be nice to have this be moved versus demoed. So those are the comments, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, who would like to, thank you, Abby.
Mr. Chair, if I may comment now?
No, you missed your chance. Really, Stephen, you want to say something?
Well, yes, because this is like you said, Holly said, it's a 1950 structure. The structure was offered to Habitat Nantucket, Nantucket Housing, and Cusper's housing group. All three companies had looked at the house to try to move it. It was determined that because it was an existing garage back in 1949 and 50, constructed of 2x4s, that it's uninsulated and undersized in all its aspects, that the building was not worth moving itself. It's also noted that in the process, there are 4 other buildings of similar content and age on the sites that surrounded this particular building that were either demolished or moved off during any particular time in the last couple of years.
Stephen?
Yes?
I think maybe you're preaching to the choir right now.
All right, well, I'm just...
The HSAB didn't have a problem with it.
No, they didn't. I just was giving you a little background as to
Okay,
some
well,
of
I
the ones in the
appreciate
area
that.
were moved.
And maybe that will be required. Let's see what the board thinks though, okay?
Mr. Chair,
Oh, yes.
I just wanted to notate, there is a photograph that Stephen provided it's number 17.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you, Stephen, for providing this.
Yep.
For posterity purposes, if there's any way we can get better copies of those photos, that I think that would be great. The one that's circled for that particular,
right, Stephen?
that would be fantastic.
Certainly can ask the owner, absolutely, Holly, to give you copies.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so Abby, you were about to go.
Yeah, did I hear that it was 1947?
No, 1949, 1950.
Oh, okay, right. And it's, you said it was like open stud inside and they're just for.
Uninsulated.
Yeah.
And it used to be a
Okay.
garage.
Yeah, I think just better pictures for me. I thought I was going to have a taker for it, but now it sounds like it would be hard to.
I did too.
No, I think it's a really cool shape. And it's got, it's in its simplicity, it's really beautiful. So, but I don't think it will work for winterizing it. So I'm okay with it. Just better photographs or, yeah.
Okay, Abby, thank you. Jesse?
Yeah, I have no concerns with it. I would agree with the HVAC comments and just have proper documentation.
Sounds good. Diane?
I guess that we would take photographs and stuff, but I would still like to see some sort of push. It looks perfect to go to Nantucket Housing. And surely it would be cheaper to put some asbestos inside than it would be to tear it down and get rid of the stuff. But if that's all we can do, then that's what I'd have to do with complete photographs.
Okay, thank you, Diane. Carrie?
I'm fine with this.
All right, I think we can have a motion.
Motion to approve with complete photographs of the structure.
To the staff, yeah. Okay, thank you, Abby, for that motion. On the motion, Carrie?
Aye.
Thank you. Jesse?
Aye.
Thank you. Diane?
Aye.
Very good. Abby, on your motion?
Aye.
And I too am in favor. Motion carries. Okay, Stephen, it looks like maybe we have a new dwelling going in its place.
We do, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
All right.
I don't know if you can see it up on the screen yet, but the existing dwelling was definitely intruding into the wetland. And we have appeared before the Conservation Commission, Don Bracken representatives at the Concom, and we have a very limited footprint that we can add on to where the existing structure was. They're making us move the structure outside of the wetland area. And they've placed limitations on the footprint that we can build in and then what we can add to the existing house. If we could start back really clear at the first panel, the first panel, actually, please, shows the survey outline.
Yeah, always.
If we could go to the survey plan, please.
Survey plan, please.
Understand.
There it is. So the plan on the left represented the existing house location. As you can see, it was definitely in the wetland area, lower than the 20-foot setback from the wetland survey. So the Concom has made us move that out, and the proposed conditions were approved by the Concom on the right-hand side. So they limited the footprint that we could build our new house and push the house back off of the wetland area. And being that we had to maintain the existing shape of the house, we were only allowed to add 700 square feet to the front of the house outside of the 50-foot zone. Did everybody get that?
So you're using the existing footprint because it's in the
Grandfather.
zone, and then
Yes.
you're adding outside of the zone. to
Yes.
max ground cover.
Yes, Carrie, to the front towards Hobart Avenue, correct.
Got it.
Okay. So based on that, if we go down to panel number 6, we wanted to do something that we called the Nantucket shingle style summer house. So we used for inspiration photographs number 6, 7, and 8. This is a shingle style house that was rooted in the early 1920s style, 1890s. And if we continue to scroll down, you'll see that we looked at some drawings, some houses from summer resorts from Peabody and Stearns from Boston from 1880s. This would be the next number 7.
Very different.
There you go there. And we continue down to number 8. You can see we were looking through the building with Nantucket in mind, and we came across, several larger Nantucket homes which were appropriate for this area. You go down to number 10 and number 9. We wanted to draw inspiration from the Sea Cliff Inn, which was of course demolished a long time ago. But based it on, your quintessential seaside Nantucket shingle style summer house, which is predominant in the area. So if we can move further down the list on the line here. Number 11 is the basically the floor plan. Let's go to number 11 if we can, please. Number 11 shows the proposed floor plans, being that the side that faces the Hobart Avenue is towards the front of the first floor plan, where we located the additive massing. The back area was required by the Concom to be pretty much stationary and fixed in that footprint we had to work with. We could not deviate from that footprint, expand or contract or add to that existing footprint as approved by the Conservation Commission. So if we go down to 12 and 13. So there's our exterior elevations of the house. And if we go down further, there is some research that we did, some extensive research showing the comparisons of homes in the area that are of the similar scale, similar size, massing, and height that are existing in the neighborhood. We can continue to scroll down a little further. That would be number 4, number 8, Hobart, as seen across from the White Elephant. Our rear elevation is actually further back from those that appear on that plan. This is the house that's in front of 6 Sandy, which is 2 Sandy. You can see the elevation of the first floor is actually half a foot taller than our elevation, and that the lot is maxed out on its ground cover. And go down some further, we have some renderings, some three-dimensional renderings showing that's the area that would be about 80 feet or 90 feet across the pond wetland area towards the White Elephant. This is what you would see as you approach the side of coming down Holbert Avenue from the Jetty's Beach location. And you can see the additive massing that was added to the front and trying to break that up with some porches. Being that we're in the floodplain, of course, our flood elevation is 10.1 to the first floor. The existing grade is currently 3.3. So we've got about a 7-foot increment to move. But we're drawing our influence from the those photographs that we showed you from the 1890s and 1920s of the shingle style here, and trying to work that in accordingly. And I know there were some comments from HSAB. They did have some concerns, of course, and we're willing to have Holly read those to you at this time. Thank you, everybody.
All right, Stephen, thanks. Holly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So first off, as you know, this is going to be replacing that 1950s dwelling, Resilient Nantucket, Chapter 11, for new construction. And therefore, we'll need a copy of the proposed elevation certificate. HSAB took a look at this on May 2nd, and they said the design concept could be successful, but is currently very massive and bulky. An upside-down house with 2 second-floor bedrooms may be too much. Some one-story additive massing would bring down the perceived height and greatly benefit the general scale. Specific areas of concern are: on the north elevation, upper deck dominates the small shed roof. Curved overhang above second-floor French doors should drop down tighter to the door header. Horizontal foundation skirt boards should be more of a panelized lattice or vertical boards, perhaps between brick piers. Shingling the porch posts would fit into this style better. Agree with that. The exterior stairs could be improved upon, and the red cedar roof would be preferred. On the west, projecting deck tower needs to be more integrated. On the east, the gable is too narrow. Painting the chimney white makes it really stand out. It should be natural brick. On the south, the second floor walls needs a break, and the windows are a little too monotonous. And HSAB respectfully requests revisions if you're so inclined. From staff's perspective, the shingle style is a great inspiration. Thank you. And the example from Peabody and Stearns, just to remind the commission and the public that they designed the Jetty's Beach Pavilion. The horizontal foundation skirt is definitely not appropriate, and again, refer to our Resilient Nantucket design guidelines that were adopted June of last year, and refer specifically to HSAB's comments on the piers. And I agree with HSAB on all of their comments. There needs to be more attention to the shingle style, and definitely agree with the additive massing at one floor level approach. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Those are comments.
Okay, Holly, thank you. Let's see. Jesse, you're on this? Yeah. All right, you want to start?
Sure.
Okay.
Stephen, I appreciate what you're doing here in such a tight space. And I would agree with almost all of HSAB's comments. I think you're going in the right direction, but needing some changes. I personally the one thing that sticks out the most for me is the horizontal boards. They should go vertical. Maybe have a vertical watermark. White trim watermark might help break that up. I like the idea of the brick columns to kind of match with the shingle columns. I think that would go well with the shingle style that you're going after. And I'm going to leave the rest to the board, because I don't know what I can give as an opinion to help this any further. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Jesse. Abby, you ready?
Yeah, I'll be brief. I think, I'm not sure we can do a full two-story on this particular site. And I would look to Willard Street actually for style, like a bungalow style or a prairie style, where you have a story and a half with a large porch. And I mean, this is all, because of the foundation problem. But, and I would go that route rather than a large shingle style on this very tight lot. That's what I have.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Abby. Diane? Diane, you're muted.
There we go. I think that what Hashem said was good. I would go along with it. I think this is much too complicated building to put in Sandy Drive, which has always been sort of a second thought where you tuck something. I think Abby's right of using Willard Street or even Wall Street as a thing to think about. This is too big, too busy a house for Sandy Drive, and I think what they said about the horizontal boards is true. It's disturbing to look at it. So I think it needs to be simplified. I think it needs to come down to a story and a half. I don't think it needs a roof walk, and I would like to see those type of revisions. That's it.
Okay, Diane, thank you. Carrie?
Shingle style to me is bold, sort of monolithic. The skin is really important and the roof is really important. And there's a simplicity with certain elements of interest. And this has so many pieces going on it that it's like overkill. I agree with the one-story thing. Those examples of the shingle style that you brought up, they all have very high-pitched roofs, and you can't do that here, and I understand why you're not doing it, but I just don't think this is really working as a shingle style building. I think it has to be simplified quite a lot. And the fenestration needs to simplify and have a few moments of sort of dynamics. So I'm having a hard time with this one as a shingle style. And I agree, this neighborhood, this is a big building on a little site, and that's another thing about the shingle style is that they're bold and large, with a landscape of the scale to sort of match the scale of the house. So I don't think this, just by the nature of the site, should go this way. That's all.
Well said. Yeah, so I had sort of similar thoughts from a slightly different perspective. Every time well, not every time, but frequently when I'm driving down the low-lying areas of Brant Point, I will run across a house that towers out of an area and has very peculiar sort of two-story masses. And I realized quickly that the house footprint was shaped by setbacks, either wetland setbacks or zoning setbacks, and it's sort of shoehorned in, and full advantage is taken to 2 stories of every possible little spot. And I feel like that's what's giving the shape to this house, is the very constrained footprint that is allowed by Concom. And the result is, something that's very dense and tall. And so to the shingle style part. The steep roof pitch thing actually could happen on this house, but it would require you sacrificing space on the second floor. But I think that some sacrifices need to be made to the upper floors for this to be a successful design. Those are my comments. So can I have a motion?
Motion for revisions.
All right, sounds good. Oh, and can we send that back to HSAB?
And send it back to HSAB.
Okay, prior to our seeing it again. So on Abby's motion, Jesse? Thank you. Diane?
Dog is barking. Aye.
Thank you. Carrie?
Aye.
Thank you. Abby, on your motion?
Aye.
And I'm in favor. Motion carries. Thank you. And Mr. Mearbergen, please
Thanks,
approach
guys.
the bench. Thanks, Stephen. Bye.
Clarification on the shingle style. I thought they were like cottage corners.
Oh, no, no. Well, that's part of it. I'm going to give you a book. It's called The Shingle Style. Shingle style doesn't mean just shingles. It's like, it's a style of architecture, and it's sort of Victorian-esque, but with less gingerbread. Stephen, or not Steve.
Have you been to?
Yeah, like shingled.
Newport Tennis.
Curved, instead of having columns, they had like curved things, but it's, you know, it's a whole style. Like the windows are unique and everything about it is unique.
Hey Jesse,
I got a book.
have you been to Newport?
Newport.
You know the tennis museum?
That's it.
That is
As the
the
quintessential
shingle
shingle
style.
style.
It's green trim that reminds me of shingle style.
We don't really have true shingle style out here. People call it.
Okay, there's one shingle style in my mind on Cliff Road, that's next to where, the catalog guy.
Oh, Horchow?
Next, closer to town,
Avelinos?
it has like the shingled columns. I don't know the name of the house, but it's
It used to be
shingled.
Hurry Up and Wait.
Hurry Up and Wait.
Yeah.
That's the one.
There's some in Wisconsin that are small.
That's the
but-
one on Baxter Road, the
Yeah,
green trim.
Churchill is a little Victorian. It's leaning Victorian. Anyway, it's a very unique style. But yeah, the tennis museum is it. That's
Yep,
like
that is the one.
quintessential. Okay, so 9R Bayberry. Who's in on this one?
I'm back.
Okay, Steven's back. Val, you're out. So Jesse, well, you're getting in a good. Hey, whenever you want. Okay, when Carrie comes back. So let's start into this. Okay, so it's Jesse, Diane, Abby, me, Stephen. Okay? All right, new dwelling at 9R Burberry. Bayberry.
Oh, okay.
I have a Bayberry scarf. All right. Anything to say, Brooke?
Yes, so this was a parcel that was a flag lot that was subdivided from the main lot, which is owned by Norris. And there is a one-story garage being proposed, a pool being proposed, and a house being proposed. This sits a pretty respectable distance from Bayberry, and it abuts private property on all sides.
Well, it
so
sits behind another house.
exactly. So its visibility is, I think, somewhat mitigated if that's a
Made
concern.
invisible.
Yeah.
It's, I'll go.
Yeah, go.
It's attractive, it's charming, it's low slung, and,
Mike, please.
I said it's attractive, it's charming, it's low slung, and after I say it's appropriate, I could pull a John and make a motion to approve as submitted.
let's see if we, would there be any objections to my entertaining that motion?
I have no concerns.
No,
Okay,
me
let's go
either.
with the motion then. So Stephen has made a motion to approve this application for a new house. On that motion, Abby,
Aye.
thank you. Jesse,
Aye.
thank you. Diane,
Aye.
thank you, Diane. Stephen, on your motion?
Aye.
And I'm in favor. That motion carries. So if we can stick it out for a second longer, Abby.
Yeah.
We do have a garage cabana and a pool. You can duck out after the cabana if you want, if you don't want to approve the pool.
Well, just toss it.
Thank you.
Find it. Unwitting target. If I wash it. For how long? Really?
Hey, Stephen.
I'm learning about eggs. I'm sorry.
He gets elected. I
Stephen
don't know what's
Welch
happened to him.
ran on
I
a
don't know. Power
platform
goes
of
to his head.
efficiency, and he's over there like chatting it up instead of looking at the drawings.
I'm waiting for the applicant to start.
I'm gonna
Oh.
unvote.
All right, fine, I'll start. One-story structure or slightly more than one story, but it's a simple form. The glass faces the house, and again, there's a house in front of this, so I think that most of this is not visible, but I think on its own, I think the form should work regardless. So that's all I
Is there
got.
anyone in the audience that wants to speak on this application? Oh, when you get to the pool part, okay.
The hammer's coming down.
Oh, okay. All right. The controversy is about to begin. Comments?
I have no concerns. Just a quick question, are those beach chairs in the garage there?
Oh, those are bikes.
Bicycles or surfboards. I don't know. They're
Surfboards. that's-
yeah.
No, they're bikes.
Well, there's bikes and surfboards,
Oh, yeah, right.
and then there's a boxer.
Can we get the drawings enlarged a little bit, please?
Yeah.
It's a very small cabana.
I got
Okay. It's getting late, so I'm forgetting. Jesse,
I'm good.
you're good. Stephen,
I'm ready to go for the hat trick on this one.
I just, is there, why does this seem so weird with the garage, like in that corner under that lean-to? I somehow wish it, I don't know.
rather than a curve you want to break.
I don't know what I want.
I'm too tired.
It faces a driveway. It's not visible.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. Like there's this.
Is there something that could happen to that roof line that would make?
Well, I could break the corner, like set it back in a foot, and kind of give it some definition.
Would that help that? Would that separate out the, I guess it would.
Yeah.
If he articulated the gable versus the broken back, it would sort of set the garage a little bit apart. But I know
I
its
see
own
what
math.
you mean. I see what you mean. This goes up
I
there.
don't care.
Yeah, I gotta point out, this is at the back of a lot.
She's talking about that.
Yeah, what about a fake corner board there?
I'd rather not take anything.
Okay, it's just,
I'd rather either have it approved as is or I'll step it back, but you can't see it.
I'll make a motion to approve as submitted.
I think that's fine, but I also don't think it's going to be visible. Okay, listen, everybody. Stephen has made a motion. Diane, how are you on that motion?
Wait a minute.
Okay.
I'm for it. Aye.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you, Jesse.
Aye.
Okay, Abby.
I'm an aye.
All right. Thank you, and Stephen.
I'm an aye.
And I am too. So that's that. All right.
Oh, I thought it was 5 to 9.
You thought what?
I was moving along because I thought we had 5 minutes left. I misread the clock. But still, it's at the
I
back.
like it when you move
Was
along.
it the minute hand
Okay.
going around?
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta
So-
learn to read the clock.
Now we're on to the pool. What do you got to say about that, Brooke? Anything?
Again, this
Oh, let
is,
me, hold on one second.
excuse me.
Abby has to go, do you want to leave now?
Yeah. I do.
Okay, why don't you? Val,
Val,
can I pull you in?
you have to.
You've got to pull her in.
Yeah.
Don't-
do.
shh. Nobody heard that.
And I'm taking my eggs.
Get an animal, Val, and then you can go home and feed your animal.
I heard that, Brooke.
When's
That
your
was
thing?
funny.
Tomorrow?
Thank you.
Tomorrow.
It is tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll text you. Here you go. Pool, go.
Middle of the lot, again, in the back, on the level, flat lot, not visible. And mostly lawn and not a lot of hardscape,
Jesse.
relatively speaking.
Okay. Now,
Hi, Meg Glidden, a butter.
okay.
Hi, Holly, this is me. This is a rural area. We have pigs and chickens abutting this property. And I'd like to just quote something from Building with Nantucket in Mind on rural areas.
Okay.
Page 137. Any house in the forest should respond to the character of its setting rather than attempt to make it something else, such as an open grassy lot. So traditionally in this part of the island, the setbacks are left wild. It's all just trees along the front. So if you come down the road, you don't see the houses, you just see woods. Between the lots, it's woods between the lots as a buffer between the properties. So I'd like to see the pool turned 90 degrees to make more buffer to that side. That is not me, okay? I'm on the back, but I think that leaving more natural woodlands around would be more suitable to the rural nature of the area.
Gotcha.
That's all I have to
Okay.
say. Thank you.
Is this the first that Brooks heard of this, by the way?
We've sort of touched on it in a brief conversation. But we had actually talked about a fence for the chickens, I think. But in terms of turning it 90 degrees, I think that's possible. I think that my concern there is just that it will wind up actually taking up more space, from the lawn, at least.
Oh, it's funny because to my,
Right.
I would think that it would take up less lawn, honestly speaking. Right now, it sort of projects, it bifurcates the lawn, between the garage and
If you look at the locus map, though, if you turn it 90 degrees, I would, as a neighbor who I guess would in the
No.
front yard,
You are here, right?
Yeah. So you're not as concerned, but if you turned it 90 degrees, this neighbor in the front part of the pool would be closer to them.
But they're the part of the lot that just created this.
Yeah,
lot.
they-
I'm not suggesting
Yeah,
that's
no,
all
I
for
mean,
you.
so they're, I'm sure, expecting development to happen there, but from keeping it.
So let me just say one thing. The HDC, this board is charged with the visibility of any kind of architectural thing as seen from a quote unquote publicly traveled way. So the discussion that we're having right now is more about being neighborly than anything else. So why don't, now that I have a little bit of background on the whole thing, I'm going to open it up to the board members. Who would like to begin?
Ray, may I say one more
Oh,
thing?
Yeah, sorry.
How about if there is a motion to approve that we include a flexibility statement that allows us to rotate it? Like, I still have to talk to my client about whether or not they want to. But, maybe we can, that way we can either rotate it, and either way, a 90-degree or as it's presented right now would be approvable. So you're approving two options as opposed to just one or the other. Do you understand?
I understand what you're saying, but you're kind of like doing our job for us.
Okay.
So let us do our job, okay? So who would like to start on this? I appreciate your intent. Thank you.
While we can't see it, I agree, it would be neighborly. I think that's something that's sorely missing these days, is concern for people around you. And I don't see that it's a detriment to this overall design. I think your lawn would be better used if
Yeah.
there's people running around and throwing balls and stuff. So if you just turned it and eliminated some of the hardscape, it would tuck in there nicely and you'd have a nice yard to play in.
Thank you, Val. Jesse?
I'm okay with it this way and I'm okay with it the other way, so, I'm okay with it.
Okay, all right. Diane? Muted? You're muted, Diane.
I am probably good with it going the other way. This is a very farmy type road going down there. And it, if you, put something else in, and people do have chickens and all sorts of farm things, because basically we are a registered farm town, that consideration for farm animals have to be given. So I think it would be good if it were turned so it didn't take up so much of that of the side, because I'm sure that other people down there on Bayberry and thereabouts have got probably chickens with the price of eggs in the store. So I'd like to see it turned. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Diane. Stephen?
I'm not going to get into the chicken or the egg discussion first, but I will say it's a long winter and farm animals have a mind of their own, so you never know what's going to happen. So neighborly is an important aspect of living on Nantucket. I think it would be a more appropriate setting for the area, without respect to visibility, to rotate around the lower right-hand corner, basically where the mouse is, 90 degrees, maybe with a couple of feet more off the house. I think that that's the most appropriate application here. And I guess those are my comments.
Yeah, and I totally agree with what you just said. I think rotating it, and I'm also looking at the house in the front and realizing that the more it rotates away, the less visibility you're going to have past the front house towards the back. So I'd like to see it go 90 degrees in the way that Stephen just described. And I also believe that it's the neighborly thing to do. And I also think that your client is going to benefit from having a larger, more usable yard. I do believe that. So can I have a motion on this one?
So just give me my cardinals. This is going to be the east. Yeah, Exhibit A.
Okay, so we're gonna craft an Exhibit A. Come on, approach the bench here. So one thing that we make sure never to do, Brooke, here at the HTC is design at the table.
Yes, we just mark it up so you can design it at
I
home.
actually told him to do that.
Okay.
Nice job.
Nice.
Okay, so there's our Exhibit A. Can you hold that up, Diane? Just so
Yes.
you know. Oh, she can't see my hand, I don't think.
I think the camera's
Where's the camera?
here.
Diane, basically, we're taking and we're rotating the pool 90 degrees in much the same way that you said. Yeah, there.
Oh, yeah, there is a
Brooke, keep turning 90 degrees. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah,
Just like
okay.
the pool, just rotate.
All right, so that Stephen has moved to approve the pool turning at 90 degrees as per Exhibit A, which will be entered into the record. On Stephen's motion, Jesse.
Aye.
Thank you. Val.
Aye.
Thank you. Diane.
Aye.
Thank you. Stephen, on your motion.
Aye.
And I'm in favor. That motion carries. Okay, thank you.
Thank
both.
you.
Thanks for coming. It's 1:15. Let's see. Linda Williams, is she still around? Oh. And
It's Marty McGowan.
Yeah, I can't believe Marty would be here right now. I shouldn't say that, but, is he?
Oh, well, why are you
No.
giving it to me?
Okay, so BPC,
Well, motion to hold
Yeah.
number 8,
Yeah,
42
42
Easton
Easton
hardscape.
okay, so that was Val's motion on Val's motion. Jesse?
Aye.
Thank you. Diane?
Aye.
Thank you. Stephen?
Aye.
And Val on your motion?
Aye.
And I'm in favor, motion carries. Okay, now we're at BPC.
Hi.
Joe, is that you?
Yeah, I'm here remotely.
Great. Oh, really? Oh, you fooled me. Okay. So 28A Evergreen.
Yeah, there's an existing two-story house that's on this lot, and this client asked us to submit these plans for a modular that they're doing that is situated behind their house. I think it's important to take a look at the site plan. There you go. So it's in the rear of the lot. There's the house on the top right in that picture that you just showed us.
That's not right.
If you go to the next page, yeah, top right, that's the existing house. And then the second picture down there in the middle, you'll be seeing the right corner of the guest house.
Hold on, Joe. We need different drawings. These are different drawings. This is 26 Douglas that they have.
Oh,
so everybody take these Douglas and put them aside for a sec.
Okay.
All right. And what do we have on the screen at the
It
moment?
was a little modular.
Is it on the screen? Is this the correct one?
No.
No.
Yeah, that's the correct one.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so.
I appreciate the enthusiasm.
Okay, sorry, Joe, can you take it from the top?
sure. And by the way, I think it's important to note, we did not draw these. This is,
I had a feeling.
I'll watch it. I'll look at this. Thank you.
we're submitting this for a friend of ours that has an existing house, and they want to put this modular in the rear as a guest house. It has limited visibility down their driveway. And so the photographs here show the existing house on the top, and then the second photo is the view down their driveway, and the guest house will sit at the end of it. You'll see it if you go back one page to the site plan. Yeah. So about half of it will be visible. It's pushed to the rear of the lot so that it's back from the street. I mean, it's definitely a full 2-story house, but I think with the perspective of this looking down the driveway, that it's not going to read as tall as it appears in elevation.
Okay, thank you. Board members.
I'll go.
Thank you.
I'm very well versed in modular. I do think, Joe, unfortunately, it's way too high. It's 29 feet. And you already have a full 2-story, but I do see there are places you could eliminate. For instance, there's huge amount of space above the windows to the eave line. You could cut down that second floor height to 7 feet if it's cathedral, and it's not going to hurt you at all in terms of usability of the space. That would cut some height out. And
what's the first floor height?
Sorry?
I can't read. Oh,
It's
They're
2811.
each 8-foot ceilings.
Yeah.
And the box is very, if I may just quickly, the box height in between is a 110, which is a little oversized.
No, that's pretty typical.
I thought Huntington was 17 inches.
Huntington's 17 inches. I don't know what Greenland does. They do more.
But in any event,
Yeah, this company's signature is the one that did the bulk of the houses behind here, and they actually have some nicely scaled modulars in there.
Well, Miss Modular has the floor.
Well, and I think what also is hurting this and is that there's no trim around the windows and stuff like that. Is that gonna be the case, or are they gonna actually trim them?
I agree with all your comments.
Yeah. And then the little pop-up roofs could be lower, the door needs trim, that kind of stuff, all of that would help. But I do still think anywhere you can take space out would be helpful.
Sounds good.
Okay, Val, thank you. Jesse?
I'm not, where am I? Val took my spot, or she took,
Well,
We
actually,
swapped spots.
well, but now that,
Carrie could take it. Doesn't matter to me.
yeah, I wasn't.
Carrie, how about
I
it?
was on it. So she
Yeah, I just think the roof needs to drop just above the windows, and I agree with Val, them and the little, roofs need to drop. And everything's, the door seems really tiny and short for some reason, it's the trim.
Mm-hmm. Trim is a mess.
Yeah, but for a
Right.
second dwelling to be 29 feet,
Is
it's
too much.
I mean, isn't it usually 24 or something?
Well, we used to be
for
22
second
and
dwelling?
we've let it accrete a little bit, but this
Yeah.
is really
But I
unusual.
know you can do a modular with dormers, so I think
Yeah.
they should look at that.
Yep.
May I go, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, go ahead.
Joe, I hate to throw fuel on the fire, but the other thing to keep in mind is this rear elevation is highly visible from Lilac. And in addition to that, this grade is significantly higher, if my memory is correct, than the abutting Lilac. So not only is this going to be a tall structure, it's going to be a tall structure on a hill. And the fenestration on that north elevation, I'm not one to think everything needs to be symmetrical, but it's really under fenestrated and it will be very, very visible. I almost think this could be much more successful with 3/4 story flush dormers on the front and the back. You're not going to lose much space. You're going to bring your height down dramatically. Still capable of being done as a modular. Of course, I would defer to Miss Modular on that.
I agree
those are
with
my
everything you're
comments.
saying. We just had something like that approved by you at Bartlett Farm Road where we did the design. Though we didn't do the design for this, but I think I have enough information to guide them on what to do next.
Okay, so
One other,
Diane, you wanna say anything additional? Because it sounds
Yeah.
like we're gonna be revising this guy. Go ahead, Diane.
the bottom right elevation, those mulled windows on the first floor are ridiculous. They need to be separated and put 3 windows across there or 2, but certainly not those 2 stuck there. That's a bad elevation. And that will be seen, as Steve said, from Lilac and stuff. So the fenestration needs to be reconsidered. Thank you.
Okay, Diane, thanks. So, Joe?
Yes.
Joseph? I think you get it.
Yeah, no, nothing that you're saying is a surprise.
Yeah, like there's no window over the front door. I think that the thing could be moved further away from the driveway so you don't get as direct a view down the drive. There's room to move it over. There's a ton of things that you can do to this to mitigate it. I think we should probably look at some revisions, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make a
Motion?
motion to hold.
All
for
right.
revision.
Thank you, Diane. Diana just made a motion to hold for some revisions on that motion. Carrie?
I
Very good. Val?
Aye.
Stephen?
Aye.
Diane, on your motion?
Aye,
Very good, and I'm in favor. Okay.
aye,
It's
aye.
5 of, what?
Yeah. We
Should
might want to, I hate to have you guys crack this at 6 minutes of 9 o'clock, frankly.
I agree.
All right, well, we had a pretty productive night.
I mean,
So-
what's the, you have a meeting on Thursday, correct?
We do, yeah.
Okay. Well, it means
So you'll pretty much be at the head of that agenda.
yeah, I think that's best for the client and for you guys.
I think so, given that you've got a number of applications for that property.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Joe.
All right. Thank you.
We'll see you. All right, good. We get to go home early. So should we approve some minutes? All right, then. Let's see. These would be the minutes of, oh, good Lord, April 26th, April 28th,
26.
and May 5th, 3. Can
So
we?
move.
All right, so Diana's made a motion to approve the minutes of April 26th, April 28th, and May 5th. On that motion, Val,
Aye.
very good. Stephen,
I'm going to abstain, Mr. Chair.
okay. Jesse,
Aye.
Diane on your motion,
Aye.
and I'm in favor. That motion carries 4 in favor, 4 in favor, 1 abstention. Okay, let's see.
And can we put on as of wind turbines on the next
Yeah, it's
Thursday or
actually,
next Tuesday?
well, it's on our other business. And as you know, unfortunately with the other business, we never seem to get to it because we haven't gotten through the whole agenda in God knows how long. So some of this stuff I'm just gonna have to move to the front if it's time sensitive.
Yeah, put that up on the front because it's happening. And
Right.
it's no good looking at it 6 months from now.
Exactly. We don't want to let it lapse. So maybe we should move that to the front of the agenda.
Mr. Chair,
I so
under
you
commission
can make a
comments.
motion if you need it. I'll make a motion.
Hang on one sec. I'm not sure that I need a motion on that. I think I can just do that. Yeah.
Okay, good.
So under commission comments, in keeping with, the purpose for why I was elected, I'm gonna just let you all know that as the chair of the organizational focus committee, we will be reconstituting that in probably mid-June or late July, to be focusing on some of the best practices concepts and the energy resiliency work group concept. And I will be giving you some additional information as a commissioner comment in the near future.
So to that,
Or I should say reactivating, because we
Okay.
have been idle.
do we need to put that down as a separate other business item?
Not at this point. If it's okay with you, I'll give you information if I'm going to bring up something that requires deliberation.
That
I
would
just
be
wanted to give
perfect.
you all a little heads up.
Okay, that would be great.
Okay.
Okay, so Esmeralda, I think, let's not do this Thursday, let's do it next Tuesday. Wind turbines will go to the front, so it doesn't languish and never land. Okay?
Mr. Chair, too.
Yes.
This afternoon, I received a copy of the discussion with Abby and Diane on the MOU on the HDC side, which needs to be dispersed through this
Oh.
commission and discussed as well. So
Yeah, so the first thing would be to get that information
Yep.
to all of us.
do it first
So that
thing
we can
tomorrow.
pre-review.
Yep.
All right. And then let's put that under other business, definitely under other business. And we may want to bump that up too, depending on what the content of it is. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm sure it's good. Okay. Everybody ready for bed?
Yes, sir.
All right. Can I have a motion?
So moved to adjourn.
All right.
Aye.
What's the new John McLaughlin? God bless John. John, if you're listening,
We love you.
sleep well and we love you. Yes. Okay. The motion was moved and it carried.